Well, welcome to C. Milton Wright High School. Don Morrison along with my partner Scott Elliott. Scott, a Chesapeake Division baseball game between two teams that are literally tied for first. I mean, that Chesapeake Division, you could throw a blanket over about five teams. Sort of a cold, damp, musty day. No rain in the forecast, but wind blowing out to left field should be fun.
Yeah, we had a really tough luck with the weather last year. This year's a little better. We'll take a day like this. And you're right about the conference. They are all beating each other. When you look at the stats, and if we went through it line item by line item, it's hard to pick a favorite. It's going to go right down to the wire. So these types of games are really important for both teams. Somebody's got to put together a few wins to take first place in the county title.
Patterson Mill comes in on a two-game losing streak. Bel Air on a three-game winning streak. You look at comparisons, they played once earlier this year. Patterson Mill won by 12-2, but Patterson Mill has lost to Bel Air and North Hartford, two teams that C. Milton Wright has defeated. The Mustangs come in at 3-3 in the league, Patterson Mill at 4-3. Interesting, Patterson Mill is going to send out their sophomore pitcher, Christian Schertzer. Christian, who's given up 24 hits in 14 innings. C. Milton Wright, on the other hand, they'll send out their junior pitcher, and that's M.J. Cummings. M.J. is 1-0. Schertzer is 2-1. So, you know, if you look at their stat line, you would say, hey, 6.35 ER for Schertzer, 5.44 ER for M.J. for Cummings. You would say it might be a hitter's game.
It could be, but I'll tell you, Christian Schertzer he's a sophomore on paper, but last year he played every position for this Patterson Mill team. Shortstop, third base, did some pitching, played some second too, I think. So he's got the veteran tagline now. You know, he grew up last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's a battler on the mound. But we're going to have to see who asserts themselves. When you watch a Patterson Mill team play, they try to take advantage of every single error that the other team makes. They try to put pressure on the base paths. You know, Coach Matt Roseland has been here a long time, has a great career. He's in his 12th season, 152 and 68 overall. His teams know how to win tight games. So they're going to try to assert themselves early. They are the leadoff team here as the visitor, and it'll be up to C. Milton Wright to keep them from executing that game plan.
Well, you talk about Patterson Mill. Here's a team with only 10 players on their roster. C. Milton Wright has at least 23. I was trying to count them. They're running everywhere. So, you know, it's a small team. It's a Class 1A team, so they're the smallest division in the state. C. Milton Wright, Class 3A team. So a big school versus a small school, but that doesn't matter. You look at the records of these teams. So we're just about ready to get underway. Ethan Schultz will step in for Patterson Mill, the center fielder, batting at 471, one of five players in this Patterson Mill lineup batting over 400. Line shot and caught by the third baseman, up and making the catch. Good play there by third baseman Christian Vineyard, who went up, caught the ball just about at head height, maybe jumped about 3 inches. So one pitch, one out, line drive out.
Boy, you got to give Ethan credit for jumping on the first pitch there. That was a nice-looking swing. He's inches away from a double to lead off the game.
Braden Seuss now the number 2 hitter. Braden is the second baseman, number 2. Senior Braden batting at 417, 2 doubles, 11 RBIs, 6 walks. On the mound, as we said, is M.J. Cummings. Ball all the way back to the backstop. Ball 1. Cummings, 17 innings pitch. He's 1-0, 5.44 ERA. Struck out 10, walked 5. Scott, lefties, they're just a different breed. You don't see many of them.
No, and he does have that typical lefty across the body, a little motion. It's the first time I've seen him pitch. Ball's cutting a little from the outside to the inside on these right-handed batters.
Up high, 2 balls and a strike. We mentioned Vineyard at shortstop, or third base, I should say. Eric Brettsnyder is at short. Luke Frez is at second, and Matt Long is at first. The outfield, Jankovic, Spurlock, and Wright from left to right. Line shot into right field. It's just a bit foul. Goes over the head of Matt Long. Count retains at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's the example of the ball cutting inside on the right-handed batter, getting in on Seuss and jamming him, tying him up a little. Braden fought that off down the right field line.
Braden, as we said, is a senior, one of the seniors on this Patterson Mill team. Curveball hangs up high. Full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Seuss has a reputation for being a tough hitter. You like to have these guys in your number 2 spot in the order.
Payoff pitch. Fly ball right field. Moving on it is right fielder Wright. Hunter Wright over and makes the catch. 2 out, 2 up, and 2 down.
You got a good piece of that. Patterson Mill's coming out swinging the bats. There's no doubt about that. Trying to get men on.
Nick Santoro, the number 3 hitter. Nick also a senior third baseman, a .290 hitter, 7 RBIs. Wind blowing what wind there is now from behind us down the third base foul line. Has that little slurvy curveball. Scotty throws it about a 3/4 delivery.
Yeah, that one just never really finished and ended up outside. Patterson Mill's sitting on that pitch. So that's a good pitch to hit if it lays up.
Down low, 2 balls, no strikes, 2-0.
That was his fastball, it looked like. Put a little on it, good low pitch. He's been a little high in the zone, so that time it looked like he focused on getting it down.
2 out, nobody on. Down low and inside, ball 3.
Nick coming in 5'9", 190. If he gets a hold of it, he's hitting third in that lineup. He's been elevated into that status.
It's 3-0, Scott. You swinging?
Oh, yeah.
3-1 on the outside corner.
But Coach Matt Roseland wouldn't have him swinging away. He's trying to get a runner on here with 2 outs. It's probably a good take.
You mentioned Roseland. Of course, we'll talk about his record. Foul ball, foul tip.
Nice rip by
a bit
Nick
of the catcher, a bit of the umpire. Yeah, it was. It was right on. 3 balls and 2 strikes now. Another full count, second full count we've had here in this first inning. Nick Santoro, the batter. Shot, shortstop, fielded, bobbled, up, throw to first base, and the out is recorded. Nice play by Brett Snyder. Fumbled the ball, stayed right with it, fired to long. 3 up and 3 down, 6-3, the out recorded.
Well, that's a good example of, the first ground ball hit to you, stay in front of it, take it on the chest, drops right in front of you, pick it up bare hand and make the throw. You couldn't have played that any better. A lot of times when you'll see players in pregame or in practice, and they stop once they drop the ball. And they really should finish the play, because that kind of play happens a lot at any level, and you have to learn how to play through it. And he plays through it, and it's just another out recorded. Nobody will ever know he dropped the ball.
Absolutely. We talked about the coach for Patterson Mill, who has the man who started the program. We're talking about Roseland, and that's the only coach they've ever known. They started as a JV program back in the in 2006, 2007. He has had 1 losing season in the 12 years that he's been the coach there at Patterson Mill.
Yeah, and I can't say enough about him. As you know, my son graduated and played for Coach Matt Roseland for 4 years, and he was nothing more than just a total gentleman, an excellent coach, a great leader for my son to follow. I've never heard a bad thing about Coach Matt. You go through life. I heard somebody give a speech at Rotary the other day that talked about every one of his coaches was a transactional coach in his career. Okay. In other words, the coach took out of him, just wanted him to do something for the coach, whether it's a record or a pitching performance or whatever, always taken from the players. Coach Matt Roseland is the exact opposite type of coach. It's not all about him and his record. It's about the players and the development of the players. And I think Patterson Mill, being a very small school, can really appreciate having a guy at their helm like Coach Matt.
Absolutely. 2-time Coach of the Year. He just won every kind of award that you can think of, but the most humble, selfless kind of a guy. So, you just, as you said, you nor I can say enough about this Coach Matt Roseland.
His record speaks for himself. I mean, I had a great personal experience with him, which I can give as a testimonial, but his record and his accomplishments, they speak for themselves.
Now, Mike Amaral, the coach for the C. Milton Wright Mustangs, this is his first year as head coach. Been coaching for 15 years. Took over for, I'll call him Joe Stetka.
Legend.
I'll always call him Joey Stetka because I remember when he played for Bel Air. So C. Milton Wright coming up now in the bottom of the first inning. They'll send up Brett Snyder, their shortstop.
Eric's the one that made the nice play to end the inning, and he gets to lead off. You see that a lot in the game of baseball.
The right-handed pitcher, Christian Schertzer. Christian is a sophomore. He's throwing to the sophomore catcher, Caleb Heyman. Around the infield, Nick Santoro at third, Anthony Vajanic at short, Braden Seuss at foul ball over our heads. Brandon Seuss is at second base, and Peyton Selich is at first base. Outfield, Mike Segretti, Ethan Schultz, and Ray Gutierrez left to right. Oh, hitting. Umpire says, no, stay here. He did not try to get out of the way. Now, I don't think I've seen that. Yeah, the rule says you have to attempt to get out of the way. I've never seen an umpire before make the poor guy stay at home with a ball stinging his elbow.
Well, they're going to talk about it here for a second.
Yeah, the Milton Wright coach, Mike Emerald's coming in.
I have seen it, and I've actually, as a coach, gone to umpires before the game and said, this guy's got a great preloaded curveball. Yeah. If you see guys not getting out of the way or ducking into the pitch, you have to help the pitcher out. And that's a case where that pitch was high and tight. It didn't quite cut and break the way that Scherzer wanted it to. And there was no effort to get out of the way. And the arm was pretty close to the strike zone. So, I got to respect the ump's call there.
Well, it's an unusual call. If you are Eric Bretschneider, now you get you got a ball. They did call it a ball, but now you've got a big lump on your left arm and you're still at the plate.
Right, but he's a leadoff hitter is what he's supposed to do. He's doing his job. The ump did his job.
Fastball on the outside corner.
Comes back on an outside corner fastball after throwing inside. So
2 balls and 2 strikes now as Bretschneider steps in. Pop up, infield. Shortstop coming, left fielder coming, left fielder, and he has the ball. Dominic Jankovic makes the catch. 1 up and 1 down.
Yeah, we've got Christian kind of comes over the top, and you can tell he plays a lot of field positions. He throws, kind of like I would have if I had pitched in high school, because he's an over-the-top infielder, right? And he's given Patterson Mill a lot of strikes in the past. He's a good, accurate thrower.
Well, he ducks and it hits him, and this time he does get to go first base. By the way, let me say it was Mike Segretti.
Now that particular pitch almost looked to be like a strike.
Yeah, he ducked. Now the difference is, in ducking, he ducked into the pitch and got hit by it.
Into the strike zone from our angle.
Yeah. So on at first base, 2 batters being hit. 1 gets to go to first base.
Yeah, that's. I'm surprised Coach Matt Roseland hasn't said a word about that one, but maybe our angle's bad.
Hunter Wright now the batter, the right fielder. Just a bit outside. Hunter comes in at 364. Kobzinski, by the way, the young man who just got hit, coming in at 429. Nick Kobzinski on at first base, only a sophomore. 1 on, 1 out. Hunter Wright at the bat. 1 ball. Line shot just foul down that third baseline. That was close.
Went with that pitch and slapped it to left.
1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, Mike Segretti, who made that catch in left field a moment ago. I'm sorry, I gave you Dominic Jankovic. Wrong team.
Right position.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner at first. No score. Bottom of the first inning. Off he goes. Hit and run. That's going to be a foul ball. Left fielder, and it's out of play. This field, by the way, we should mention, Scott, wide open. There is a fence in right field, a little bit far out there. I don't think anything will be in danger of hitting that, but it's all you can get. Hit it and run. No outfield fence.
This is the old school. This is the way I played him, Don. Never a fence. Hit him in the gap and run.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out.
Patterson Mill's got to be hugging that left field line now after 2 successive attempts here. Nice throw over by Christian Scherzer, trying to make sure that Simon Wright doesn't have anything on, or if they do have something on, he's going to shorten that lead up just a little bit. Milton Wright here, if they're running, it's a smart move early in the game.
Not going, swung on a miss.
Looked like he changed up on that.
That was nice, yeah.
I'll have to
good pitch.
See what he's throwing, but that looked like a changeup. That was a nice pitch.
Scherzer has 15 strikeouts in 14 and a third innings, but he's given up 24 hits, Scott, in that just 14 and a third. ERA of 6.35.
Right. And he does throw. He comes over the top. He throws strikes, so you're going to get hit.
Jake Spurlock, the batter, back to first safely.
I've seen Jake play for a long time here at Milton Wright, and he's always a menace in the middle of that lineup for the opposing teams.
Cleanup hitter. Yeah. Batting at .533 on the year.
That's a heavy number. That's a big number.
Got that right elbow cocked high.
Menacing approach there at the plate.
Little ground ball up the third baseline, still fair, and finally goes foul. Right down that third base line.
I jinxed him. I called it a menacing look, and then he hit a ball he wanted back, but he did hustle it out because you just don't know in a play like that. Yeah.
Nick Santoro. Patterson Mill, but the third baseman, Christian Vineyard, coming in, making the play. Curveball stays high. Throw to second base and the tag. He is out. The out is recorded. Great throw from Caleb Heyman out to the shortstop Nathan Vujanic, and the out is recorded from 2 to 6. And so even though there was a runner, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. That was a great throw by Heyman.
Put it right on there. I watched him in pregame. He looked like he had a good arm. Both catchers did. So, you know, as much as I hate to see somebody get thrown out stealing, being a base stealer myself, I got to give credit to the Patterson Mill defense there for getting out of that inning. You know, Jake Spurlock's a tough out. We know, we just talked about his batting average.
Yep.
But you got man on, you're running, trying to get him in scoring position for one of your big hitters, so that's understandable. And Patterson Mill, conversely, needs to put that ball right on the money so that they can get out of the inning without him being in scoring position.
Give pitcher Scherzer a lot of credit. He kept the base runner, Kopczynski, close. Kopczynski got not much of a jump at all, and the throw was an easy one. In other words, the throw was right there, the out was recorded, so it wasn't close at second base.
Yeah, the catch was made, the tag was made, showed the ump, you know, did everything right.
We'll go down to the top of the second inning. Nathan Vujanic will be the leadoff hitter. We talked about how it seems like the great defensive play. He comes off the leadoff the next inning. Well, Vujanic, who just made that play at shortstop, the tag, he'll be leading off. 485 hitter, 2 doubles, 9 runs, scored 11 RBIs. So we'll see the cleanup hitter as the leadoff batter here in the top of the second inning. Again, these two teams virtually tied for first place in the tough Chesapeake division. 4-3 for Patterson Mill, 3-3 for C. Milton Wright. Bel Air actually a half game ahead. They're at 4-2. North Hartford also at 4-3. So, as you said, Scott, it's anybody's ball game here, just about mid-season of the Chesapeake division.
Right. That's right. I mean, traditionally, Patterson Mill and Bel Air traditionally in North Hartford, they've all been there. So someone's going to have to step forward now.
Patterson Mill, top of the second. Nathan Vujanic. Nathan's a junior. Little curveball, hangs low. Ball one. Ball one. Down low 2, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
I think Nathan.
There's a little
swing.
foul ball down the line. Matt Roseland fields it. 2 balls and a strike.
You know, Nathan had a good season last year for Patterson Mill, moving from first base to shortstop. Shows you what kind of athlete he is.
There's that high curveball. Drops his elbow and kind of has that level playing curveball. Works really well against left-handed hitters. Right-handed hitters tend to see it very well. Fly ball, right field. Moving on it is Hunter Wright. And Hunter has his second put out. That fly ball into medium depth right field. 2 up, 1 up now, 1 down as now the pitcher Scherzer comes to the bat. Scherzer, just a sophomore, a 258 hitter. Has a double, 7 runs, 7 RBIs, and he runs if he gets on base. He has 8 stolen bases. Fastball for the strike.
Yeah, Michael Cummings has been up in the zone here a little bit to start the game.
Fly ball,
That's
well hit into left center
very
field.
well.
Moving back.
Good jump, though.
Yes, sir. That wind just sort of carries it. Out is recorded as Dominic Jankovic goes back and makes the catch. That ball was well hit.
It was well hit and hammered, but a great beat on it by the left fielder. He kind of had it the whole way. It's unfortunate for Patterson, though. He kind of hit it where they could track it down, but it was driven. The pitch was up and driven.
Michael Segretti now, sophomore, for the strike. Strike 1. Jankovic was playing out in that left center field alley, too, so he moved over and made a nice jogging catch of the ball.
Good rip.
Tip foul.
I had the pleasure of helping Patterson Mill over the weekend with their mulch sale, as they have a fundraiser every year. And since my son's an alumni, it felt good to help him out. But I had plenty of time to drive around with Michael here, and Michael Segretti, and great young man. Had a lot of fun with him.
Foul back our way.
I grilled him a couple times. Who's your favorite ball player? Who's your favorite basketball player? He answered. He got all the right answers on that test.
His favorite ball player is?
Well, he
Curveball swung on and missed.
Good.
Three up and three down.
That's the pitch we were talking about earlier. It's up in the zone, and he threw a couple, didn't quite finish it, but it was almost overly effective because it was up in the zone, and I think Michael felt like, hey, I better swing at this because it's close enough to be a strike. But as a right-handed swinger, that ball's breaking into you, kind of ties you up as you're trying to get a piece of it.
Yep.
And you get the strikeout and get out of the inning. So, in other words, we're moving along at a pretty good clip here, Don.
We are. We're in the bottom of the second inning already. No score, no hits for either team. The only base runner was Nick Kobzinski, who was hit by the pitch and thrown out at second base trying to steal. Actually, we've had two hit batters, but one was made to stay at home plate with a lump on his left elbow.
Right. That's right.
Still don't agree with that call. You know, respecting the umpire as I do. Still, if you get hit by the pitch, you ought to get first base. I know the rule. You're supposed to try to get out of the way.
They put the body armor on these days, and they just take it.
And you and I agree. The second hitter, Kobzinski, actually ducked into the ball. It was closer to a strike than the ball that hit Brett Snyder.
Maybe the ump made it. Maybe it was a makeup call. Maybe he was even in the score. I don't know. We might have had a bad angle on him. But Patterson Mill didn't argue, so it looked okay.
Yeah, you're right. Of course, Coach Amaral came in. The C. Milton Wright coach, and wanted to know why his player didn't get to take first base. And
yeah, he was lobbying.
Yeah, seemed to be satisfied with the answer. Now Jake Spurlock will come back up. You remember Spurlock was at the bat when Kobzinski was thrown out at second base, so the cleanup hitter comes up again, the 533 hitter. Now, some would say, hey, don't take the bat out of the cleanup hitter's hands, but you know, you want to get that guy in scoring position.
Right, they want to get him where, you know, with 2 outs, a single scores him. So it didn't work, but now the good news is you have your best hitter leading off the inning.
Schertzer's curveball hung up high, ball one. Line shot, almost caught, but by the first baseman. Now the pitcher covers the throw to first base. He is safe.
Well, I would think that's a hit.
By Selich. Selich had the ball careen off his glove, went back, picked it up. The second baseman did, Brandon Seuss, threw to the pitcher Schertzer covering, but he beats out, and so we have the first base hit of the game.
By the guy who's hitting over 500, so it shouldn't surprise us.
Bring up Luke Frezin. Now Luke is a freshman playing and batting number 5 in the lineup.
Christian right away trying to keep the runner close. Not a bad idea. There's none out, so a lot of options here for Seaman Wright on the table.
Of course, the bunt, we think of it the old school. He would bunt him up, but we're early in the ball game. Up high, throw back to first base, keeps him close. Again, Scott, we look at the ERAs of these two pitchers and the offense of both teams. You would think this would be a high-scoring game. So far, not so much. Oh, by the way, the sun has come out.
I don't know.
Feeling good.
Get the bats moving.
Up high. Is that 3 balls and no strikes? Our scoreboard is not working, so we'll depend on the umpire to keep us informed. I think that's 3-0. Little pop up to this first baseman, caught back safely. Well, that's a nice move there by Spurlock, not to be called off the base.
What would you do there if he had just dropped that ball and then tagged the base and tagged the runner?
Yeah.
It's not high enough to be deemed probably a purposeful drop, but
that was Selich with the play. We'll bring up Christian Vineyard now. Vineyard, the third baseman. 1 out, 1 on. The bunt up the first base line.
It's a good one.
Throw to first base for the out. Good play by Scherzer.
So C. Milton's going with the strategy of getting the guy to second with 2 outs and seeing if they can produce on a hit.
Sacrifice goes from the pitcher 1 to the first baseman 3. And that'll bring up Dominic Jankovic. Dominic, the left fielder. Dominic, a junior. Runner at second, 2 out.
Dominic made that nice catch earlier in the game on that line drive that was hit out by Brandon. I think
Ethan Schultz.
I think it was Scherzer that hit that ball.
Yeah, the very first pitch of the game. Pop up, coming back our way. Look out. Looks like the crowd, we have a nice little crowd gathering here on a Wednesday afternoon at Milton Wright High School. Temperature's probably in the low 60s, a little bit of a breeze. Down low, great stop by the catcher. Nice play by catcher Caleb Heyman.
Caleb, man, he really was all over that. Looks like he'd been practicing that for years.
Yeah, went right down on both knees, just like you're taught. Heyman just a sophomore. Up high.
I remember him from last year as a freshman. He caught a couple innings for him, and he's good sized kid. Certainly made a nice play there.
Christian Scherzer leaving the ball up a bit here.
He's got to bear down because this is a run situation. And
There's
they
the
got
throw
him.
to second base. It got him picked off. The throw back to third base. He is out. What a play from the pitcher Scherzer to the second baseman Suze, and the throw to the first baseman Santora, and the out is recorded from 1 to 4 to 5. So that's 2 base runners that have been thrown out here for Milton Wright.
Yeah, I don't think Jake Spurlock was necessarily stealing on the pitch, but as he saw the pitcher kick his leg, he started to get his run because he wants to be ready to score on that base hit. He wants to aggressively get a good lead. The problem was that Christian Scherzer was doing an inside kick move. So as he kicked, he was coming back to second, and that's perfectly legal.
It is. It's like a left-handed pitcher to first base. It looks like it should be. It looks like it should be a balk, but it isn't. As long as that leg is behind your right leg, in other words, your left leg is behind your right leg, you can go to second base.
And you can't make a motion to home with it and then turn around and throw, but he did a perfectly executed inside move, and Spurlock was dead to rights. Patterson Mill, they practice a lot of pickoffs.
Yeah.
They practice a lot of trick plays. They have no problem
Reminds
throwing
me
the
of
ball around.
Steve Williams at Edgewood, your coach. He had so many pickoff plays that, whenever a runner got on, you said just stay close to the base because Edgewood will pick you off.
That's a big advantage, and you're right. That made a huge impression on me as a player. My Arena Stars teams at the national level were known for throwing the ball around the diamond. You want to prove to a team that you can throw the ball around the diamond better than they can, and that intimidates them. It keeps them from running. The team that throws the ball around the diamond the best usually wins.
Yeah. Now the Patterson Mill Huskies, we're already in the top of the third inning. They'll send up the bottom 3 of their order. Peyton Selich, Caleb Heyman, and Ray Gutierrez. This is Selich, a 182 hitter on the year. Fly ball center field. Moving on to this Jake Spurlock, and Spurlock will make the catch. 1 up, 1 down, 1 pitch.
Patterson Mill does not waste any time up there. They see it, they hit it.
Now Ray Gutierrez, the right fielder, senior, batting at .412, has a double and 7 for 17 on the year. Another little pop-up, third baseman moving, making the catch. 2 pitches, 2 out. Christian Vineyard has the catch.
Ray got jammed a little bit on that one.
So now if you're Caleb Heyman, you might want to take a pitch or 2. You don't want to have 3 pitches and 3 outs.
I think so. He's hitting 9th in the lineup. He's the catcher. He needs a little time himself, but let's try to drag the inning a little. 3 pitches and 3 outs is just not a good inning, and you got to give this inning to Milton Wright if that happens.
Strike 1. Yeah, if you're Scherzer, you haven't had a chance to even go down and sit down, much less get a rest.
Yeah, these are the things that play out over the course of a game. That kind of an inning can be influential in the decision.
Line drive caught by the first baseman Long. So it was 4 pitches and 3 outs, not 3 pitches and 4 outs.
Same effect, though. Same effect.
So 3 up, 3 down, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning now, no score. Boy, this game is moving along.
You're right about that, and it gives us a little bit of an opportunity to reflect on these teams too. We wanted to talk a little bit about last year. You mentioned earlier that Patterson Mill had 10 players, I think, and they are a smaller school. Last year, in talking to Coach Roseland, they graduated the majority of their team. They only had 3 guys come back. So they lost 9 seniors, 6 of them were starters, so they have 3 returners. And as a small school, you're talking about Coach Roseland having to totally reload, change his philosophy. And he's been successful doing that. And he doesn't duck from anyone. To give him credit, as a small school, he could be lobbying on some years like this to go back into the lower division.
Yeah.
Saying, look at how many guys I lost. And in doing that, he would get the opportunity, like some teams who sit in that division and win a lot of games. And then when the regional championships come around, the regional finals, they get the higher seeding in the state tournaments because they have fewer losses. But Coach Rosen doesn't duck teams. He's up in the upper division competing against the bigger schools like Bel Air and C. Milton Wright and North Hartford. And even in a year like this where he has to reload and he has just 10 players, you know, he's still executing a good season. You can't say they're not successful this year.
6-4.
Right. And he's got a JV that he's grooming. He's not bringing up guys from the JV that sit the bench at the varsity level.
Interesting. Talking to him before the game, he said he would rather be in the 2A division than the 1A. He actually considers the 1A division to be the tougher of the two in the state of Maryland.
It is. I can attest to that. Look at the pitchers that have come out of that. I tell my friends that all the time. I watch the finals, and each year these pitchers in the 1A division are just loaded.
So here we go now to the bottom of the third inning. Again, it's the bottom three of C. Milton Wright. Dominic Jankovic. Jankovic was at the plate when Spurlock was thrown out at second base on the pickoff.
He did not even take off his helmet or his batting gloves, and he's right back up there.
4 pitches and 3 outs in the top of the inning. Swung on and missed. 0-2.
Well, you know, that we talked about how this might affect Patterson Mill having such a short inning, but Christian Schertzer comes right out and gets right on top. First batter, throwing strikes.
Strike 3, that outside corner.
He might have been looking for a curveball there, but he got another steady diet of fastballs and 1 out.
Second strikeout in the game for the young pitcher from C. Milton Wright, from Patterson Mill, Christian Schertzer. Second year on the team, played as a freshman last year, also a soccer player. 2 wins and a loss on the year. Brings up the DH Zach Stiers.
Yeah, Zach's hitting for the pitcher today, right?
So MJ Cummings, the pitcher. I used to, as a coach, I liked my pitcher not to hit. I liked him to be on the bench and be thinking about his #1 job. Line drive, base hit.
That's why you were so smart.
Baseline.
You get a designated hitter that can rip them like that. That's a nice hit to lead off the inning here with 1 out.
Staying right at first base. Nice job coming over and fielding the ball quickly was Mike Segretti. That'll bring up the #9 hitter, the first baseman, Matt Long. So now with 1 out, you'll have to keep your eye on Zach Stiers at first base.
Every inning, C. Milton Wright's getting somebody on, so that's a good sign for them.
Except they've gotten 2 picked off. 2 on and 2 picked off. Strike. Boy, Schertzer is throwing strikes this inning.
Hey, he doesn't seem phased. If you hit him, he's coming right back with something else.
That was our first hit of the ball game. Actually, our second hit of the game, pardon me. Tip foul at the plate.
And Christian Schertzer also is always checking the runner. He's varying his speeds. Coach Bill Benson's in there working with the pitchers on things like that, but it makes a difference. Patterson Mill's always been very strong in that category.
They have. You can tell they're a well-coached team, a well-schooled team. They play the game the way it's supposed to be played.
Well, it's the little things. The little things like that, Don, that keep C. Milton Wright guessing here. They've been getting runners on, but like you say, not really producing anything.
1 out, runner on at first base. That's Zach Stiers, who got that line drive hit over the third base bag. There he goes, foul back. So the Mustangs are not fazed by the fact they've lost 2 runners being thrown out, as Stiers was on the move.
Well, the game's wearing on, so they're going to have to keep pushing the issue.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, runner at first base. Sun has come out here. It's peeking through the clouds. It's a beautiful day at C. Milton Wright. Strike 3 is the call. I'm told by the truck that the winds are from the southeast, which means zip to me. Where is the field? Is the field positioned from north to northwest? All I know is the wind is blowing from behind us down the third base line.
Yeah, a little cross field. Yeah.
2 out now. Back to the leadoff hitter, Christian Schertzer.
Schertzer has 2 backwards Ks here, meaning that he's struck 2 guys out looking. big strikeout there gets you to the 2-out mark in an inning where C. Milton Wright has another runner on.
Brett Snyder, the young man who was hit in the first inning, but didn't get to take first base because the umpire ruled he didn't try to get out of the way of the ball. Down low, great stop by Heyman again. Really impressed with this young catcher, Caleb Heyman.
He's proven he can block the ball so far, and that would have been another situation where C. Milton Wright would have had somebody at second with 2 outs, so that's a big play.
Steyer's on at first base. He was on the hit and run on the foul back. Stays up high and inside. But Schertzer has a good arm. He can throw the ball, you know, probably in the 80s, I would think, in the mid 80s, throwing it on the fastball.
That's a good question. I mean, I would think he's probably 79 to 83 maybe.
Just a sophomore, and
yeah, he's not a big guy. It does explode out of his hand though.
On the outside corner. Two balls, one strike.
And like a lot of those infielders too, he's got that quick, you know, he's snapping the ball, so it does explode, and he's getting inside on a few of these hitters.
2 out, runner at first base. Just off the outside corner, 3 balls and a strike. Brett Snyder eventually flew out to left field back there in the first inning. In the bottom of the 3rd inning, no score. On the outside corner, we have a full count. Expect that runner at first base to be off with the pitch. So a hit up the alley, we could see Steyer's running and perhaps getting a chance to score the first run of the game.
That was a good play all the way around. Good pitch by Christian Schertzer. Good take by Eric Brett Snyder.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, runner gone. Just outside, ball 4. That was close.
Hey, he missed a couple times outside there. Close pitches.
Runners
Good
at first
eye.
and second. Nick Kubczynski now. Kubczynski was the second straight batter hit by the pitch in the first inning. He did get to go to first because the umpire ruled he had ducked. Though he ducked into the ball, he did duck the ball and ended up at first base, but was thrown out on an attempted steal. 2 out, 2 runners on. Bottom of the 3rd inning, no score. Fly ball, right field.
That's a tough play, long run.
Right.
I don't think he's getting to it.
Falls in for the base hit. Run is going to score from second base. And C. Milton Wright has broken on top now as Kubczynski gets the bloop hit into right field and the RBI. Going around to third base is Brett Snyder. Scoring from second base is Steyer. So we now have seen a breakthrough here as C. Milton Wright has scored the first run of the game.
Well, they were threatening. They were getting men on, and this time it just caught up with Patterson Mill. So, you know, you've got a 2-out score finally by C. Milton Wright, breaking through, breaking the ice in the game.
Gutierrez came in and fielded the ball well, but couldn't get it back in before Steyer's had scored.
Yeah, there was nothing he could do about that. That was a clean hit.
Hunter Wright.
That's hit well
shot.
in the gap.
That's going to be in the gap for a base hit. He's going to run a while. 1 run in. That's Brett Snyder scoring. Turning third and coming in to score is Kubczynski. Going into third base with a triple is Hunter Wright. 2-run triple by Hunter Wright. That's called hit 'em where they aim.
That ball was banged. That was really driven.
2 RBI triple by Hunter Wright, and so now it is 3-0 as C. Milton Wright has scored all 3 of their runs with 2 out in this inning. And that brings up the cleanup hitter, Jake Spurlock, who got that line drive off first baseman's glove back in the first inning. Pop up, foul coming our way. Look out.
Not the guy you one up in this situation, but they're going to have to get him to get out of the inning.
Caleb Heyman came all the way back, and that ball back in the stands. 2 out now.
He had a good rip at it. I mean, Spurlock's not, you know, he wasn't checking his swing there. He's seen a couple of his buddies get some good hits. He's up there hacking. Scherzer's got to be careful here.
2 out, right at third.
Nice pitch.
Ball inside corner. That was a nice pitch.
That's a nice pitch. And, you know, I know Spurlock wants to be aggressive. That's a tough pitch to be aggressive on.
No balls, 2 strikes, runner at third, 2 out.
Nice late break on that pitch.
3 runs in.
Nice slider on the inside corner.
Pop up,
That's
coming
out of play.
foul, out of play. Heyman gives it a look, but it's well out of play. We give Scherzer credit. You know, he's not shying away. He's coming right after him.
Yeah, well, he's got to. I mean, it's at a point where they've got a couple runs across, and this is a good hitter. Now, if you didn't get ahead of him, you could actually argue maybe you walk him, and first base is open. But he's ahead of him now, so the idea is to look like to go after him, make him hit your pitch.
No balls, two strikes, 2 out, runner at third, just low.
Nice pitch.
Go back to Eric Brettsnyder, that leadoff hitter who worked the walk. Boy, that was the bat of the inning because he kept the inning alive, and then Kobzinski came up, got the bloop single to right field, and then Wright with that big triple into left center.
Yeah, kind of got it started.
Ground ball up to the third base line, fielded by the third baseman. Long throw to first, and the out is recorded. Good play there by Santora over to Peyton Selich, and the final out of the inning is recorded, but not before C. Milton Wright scores 3 runs. They get 3 runs on, let's see, 3 base hits. There were no errors, 1 runner left on base. We've now played 3 full, with C. Milton Wright leading by a score of 3-0.
A couple hits there. You know, strung a couple hits together. Where they get 3 hits in the inning, so C. Milton Wright has the opportunity now to go into the middle of the game with the lead. That's a big advantage.
We have played 3 full. Patterson Mill now finds themselves in a position where they have to battle back. Yeah, we said that C. Milton came in with that 3-game winning streak. Patterson Mill has a 2-game losing streak. So, you know, if you're Patterson Mill, you're looking to try to break that. If you're Bel Air, hey, I mean, if you're C. Milton Wright, you look at the fact if we could win 4 straight, and those are 4 up-back Chesapeake Division games.
Right. That puts them in a position where they're going to be battling for first place. You know, traditionally Patterson Mill has not really been in a position where they're, you know, going to fade towards the end of the season. So you know they're going to win some games. But you're right, they might be doubting themselves, dropping a few in a row.
Yeah, C. Milton Wright come in with wins over Falston, North Hartford, and Bel Air in a row, looking to make it, if they can, 4 in a row. Hey, by the way, they play a tournament this weekend. Does C. Milton Wright at Bel Air, talking to the coaches before the ball game. It's the Mike Lacey tournament. Apparently, Mike Lacey was a member of the '96 Bel Air team who succumbed to death by some sort of a disease, and they play this tournament. I think C. Milton is playing John Carroll and City in that tournament.
Good. It's good cause to help celebrate his life.
Patterson Mill will start with their leadoff hitter, Ethan Schultz. Schultz lined out on that first pitch of the ball game back in the first inning.
Well, they got their leadoff hitter up, so see if they can do some damage.
Line shot up the middle, and there's your base hit, the first base hit of the ball game for Patterson Mill.
I always like the way he swings the bat. That's a nice single to start off the inning.
471 hitter coming in was Schultz. He's hit 2 line drives, got 1 base hit now, 1 for 2. Brandon Sues now the batter. Flew out to right field in the first inning.
Well, there's plenty of time to come back here, but you got to get on the board. And this, if you see Patterson Mill playing small ball to get a run, it's not a bad idea.
MJ Cummings, inside and low. This catcher, Nick Kobzinski. Nick is a sophomore also. 2 sophomore catchers in this game, both of them very impressive. Ground ball, third base. Oh, it bounces almost back fair. That hit the grass of the infield and came back. Good play by Vineyard to hang with it. Foul ball.
1, 2, 3.
Santor, the number 3 hitter, on deck. Inside, 2 balls and a strike.
You heard Coach Matt Roseland yell out the signs. 3-4-0. It's a new era, Don. There's no more signs.
Come
they
on,
are
it's
numbers.
all verbal?
It's all verbal.
I'd be in trouble. Curveball hangs outside. Those nasty left-handers, you noticed how he took that right leg and sort of hung it out there so the first baseman runner, Schultz, couldn't get a chance to move. They're sneaky that way, those left-handers.
They have an advantage on a man.
Line shot into left center field. That's going to be a base hit. 2 up, 2 hits. Moving down to second base is Schultz. So Here come the Huskies.
They're answering back. That's good. I like to see that.
Nick Sancor, the number 3 hitter, grounded out to shortstop back in the first inning, ended the first inning. A 290 hitter. 7 RBI, 6 runs. Curveball inside.
Yeah. Yeah, Patterson Mill can make their move here. They haven't been overpowered. They're swinging the bat well. They got the middle of the lineup now with men on. This is the make your move right here for Patterson Mill.
Nice stop right at the plate. Good job again by Kobzinski.
It looked like Eric Brettenschneider looked like, yeah, they're going to talk about this a little.
Coach Pete Donardi goes out. He's going to talk about it.
And I don't know if that's why he's visiting the mound, but certainly Eric Brettenschneider cut hard to second base there. It looked like he was looking for some kind of inside move from the pitcher. He didn't get it. What happened that sticks out is that the pitcher, MJ Cummings, went to the plate while his shortstop was out of position and covering the bag, which usually pitchers don't do, because now the whole left side of the infield's open with your shortstop at second. So the way they called an immediate timeout, they might want to talk about that, get their signs straight. They don't want Patterson Mill to get an easy one here from a mistake, so it's time to talk and maybe get all on the same page here.
Well, Scott, that's a great call by you. The shortstop was totally out of position. Brett Snyder had gone over to cover second base, and MJ Cummings went ahead and threw the ball, and so that whole left side was wide open.
Yeah,
Santora. 2 balls, no strikes. Up high. On the other hand, you cannot be overly concerned about the runners. Your job as a pitcher, Scott, as you know, is to attack that batter.
Right. Yeah, he's wasn't happy with the sign there, so he stepped off, and he's going to get another one here. Make sure he throws his pitch.
Up 3-0 on the outside corner. I think that's 3 balls and a strike.
Well, Nick's one of the veteran hitters on this team, so he's looking to do some damage on this pitch. It's a big payoff pitch.
Inside ball 4. The bases are loaded. Tying run on at first base. Schultz down to third, Seuss down to second, Santoro on at first, and guess what? The number 4 hitter, Nathan Vujanic, up at the bat. Vujanic, who flew out to right field in the second inning. 485 hitter, 2 doubles, 9 runs, 11 RBIs, with the right man in the right spot.
Yeah, he's their athlete. Oh, nice rip, fouled back. He's also the quarterback on the football team. Remember seeing him play this year. Good athlete. His brother's a good athlete, was there prior to him. So, and Patterson Mill's looking, you know, they're answering back with a good inning. Now let's see how productive it can be with men on.
Curveball, ground ball third base, fielded by the third baseman, throw to home, and the out is recorded. Boy, nice play there from Vineyard to Kobzinski. Check it from Santoro to Heyman. Heyman is able to make that play. The throw was a little bit wide. Heyman gets the force out at home, so Schultz is out from 5 to 2. Runners move up a base. Seuss to third, Santoro to second, and Vujanic is on the fielder's choice. 1 out now. Bases remain loaded. Brings up Christian Scherzer, the pitcher, looking to help his cause. Curveball down low.
The key here for Patterson Mill might be laying off some of those pitches too, making sure you're getting a good pitch you can drive. You know, they've been aggressive all game, but you don't want to. You want to let this inning play out. You don't want to be overly aggressive.
Tip foul off the catcher. Caleb Heyman, the second-year catcher, just a sophomore. Big spot in the ball game, down 3-0. Huskies with a chance to get on the board. Curveball hangs outside. 2 balls and a strike. Scherzer 258. 7 RBIs. Fly ball right field. The sun's in his eyes. Moving, making the catch. Faking to come home, but he will not come home. Great job. Good job by the right fielder, Nick Wright, Hunter Wright, I should say. Makes the catch, shields his eyes and makes the catch and throws it all the way home. Now 2 out, bringing up Segretti.
That was an absolute cannon from right field. So I can see why Coach Matt Roseland didn't want to really test that arm, especially on a shallow fly where right fielder had to run into it. Well, he'd have been running into the third out down there for sure.
For sure. Now, we were told that Hunter Wright is the second pitcher on this day. He'll be the guy coming in should MJ Cummings falter. So he showed off that great left arm from
technically,
right
they don't have to make a move. He could pitch from right field with that, what I just saw.
Oh, well, now Segretti, with all the pressure on him, bases were loaded and nobody out. Now bases loaded and 2 out. Segretti fanned back in the second inning,
Coach
third out.
Matt Roseland called Michael down there to talk to him just now, and I'm sure he told him, look, relax up there, but don't be overly aggressive. Let's get a pitch you can hit and do your best with 2 outs.
Down low.
Good take. He's worked himself ahead now. Every pitch that you take in a situation like this puts more pressure on the pitcher. So it's important not to overly be aggressive and swing at bad pitches in the dirt. Michael did a good job of laying off that one.
Good job by Heyman again, blocking that ball in the dirt. Inside.
So he's done his job. I'm rooting for Michael here because as I told you, he did a great job helping me all weekend with that mulch delivery on Saturday for Patterson Mill. And he's got his first opportunity to play as a varsity player.
Takes the outside corner strike. 3 balls and a strike.
Kind of an automatic take there, right? Everybody in the park knew he was probably taken. So now we get back to action with a 3-1 pitch.
With 2 outs. Bases are loaded. Down low, ball 4, and the first run for Patterson Mill, driven in by the walk. So the RBI for Segretti. Scoring from third base is Seuss. Moving up to third, Santora. Up to second, Vucanic. Bases remain loaded. 3-1 the score.
Right. It's important there to give, now they move into another situation for another run.
Peyton Selich on the outside corner. Selich flew out leading off the third inning. 182 hitter looking to cash in right here. Tie runner at second base, down 3-1. Curveball.
Nice block.
That ball hit about 3 feet in front of the plate. Heyman went right down on all 4.
All right, so it's got reverse spin on it because it's a curveball, and he did a good job tilting his right shoulder in there to keep it in front of him, not bounce it down the first baseline, and saved a run.
Up high.
And what a weapon, too. If you're the pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
The confidence to throw that pitch in the dirt.
Absolutely. Big pitch. Line shot, base hit. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score. This game is tied going into third base without a throw. Runners at first and third. A 2-run single by Peyton Selich.
That ball was in the middle of the plate, and Peyton just drove it. Other than maybe a line out, that was probably one of the best balls we've seen hit today. It definitely was. Driven over the shortstops heading into the gap. Nice job by Patterson Mill to fight back.
Santora scoring from third base. Vucanic from second. Moving up to third base is Segretti. And now that'll bring up Ray Gutierrez. Gutierrez, who popped out to the third baseman back in the third inning. We're tied at 3. See Milton scoring 3 in the bottom of the third, and Patterson Mill coming right back with 3 of their own. Pop up. Pitcher calling, and he's going to make the catch. MJ Cummings makes the catch, and the inning is ended, but not until Patterson Mill comes back with 3 runs of their own to tie this game at 3.
Well, they got a couple hits in the inning, strung it out. Well, they have 3 hits on the inning there, I think, if my math is right.
3 runs and 3 hits.
Right. To come back, and I'm happy for Peyton Selich. He's had some injuries in his career, both as a basketball player and a baseball player, and he fights through them. A great attitude, great team player. I know his mom and dad are proud on that one because that's a big, in the middle of the game, if you don't answer back, see Milton Wright's got momentum and they can start to stretch the lead on you a little, and it makes it harder on a young team with 10 players to come back. But Patterson Mill answers, they come right back, and they can win the inning if they can get back in the dugout here and keep C. Milton Wright from pulling ahead.
3-3 is our score as we go now to the bottom of the 4th inning. Had been no score at all until the bottom of the 3rd, and C. Milton scored their 3 runs. And Scott, as you said, coming right back to tie it, Patterson Mill. We're tied at 3.
You can't always control what the other team's doing, but you can control your behavior to it. And You know, Patterson Mill's gritty. They came right back. In years we've covered them. We've covered them in some huge games. And Coach Roseland kind of instills that grinding spirit. And they've always had gritty players that can get the job done, figure out a way to get it done, right? And in that case, given the opportunity, ball in the gap, knocks in 2 runs, you're right back in the ball game. So now we've had the luck of having some good games here, Don.
We really have. This is a great game. Both teams playing well defensively. Timely hits. The pitcher's pitching well, but just not being able to wriggle out of a jam when it appeared like they were within a pitch of getting out of the jam. They just couldn't get it done. So now we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. See Milton Wright trying to answer. They'll send up their numbers 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Luke Frezza, the freshman, popped up to the first baseman.
Well, Luke's a good-looking freshman. He's got a good build on him. He looks very confident at the plate.
Christian Scherzer still in at the pitching for Patterson Mill. Line drive hit into left field, moving on to his left fielder, and diving and making the catch. Great play there by Dominic Jankovic. Looked like that ball was going to be hit with some overspin, might drop. I said
Yeah.
Jankovic, excuse me, that was Mike Segretti.
Yeah, we've got him twice on the wrong name, but it's probably good luck for him because he keeps making plays. But you know, we mentioned Mike earlier when he was at the plate. He is a center fielder too by nature. He made a great play on that. Good athlete.
Christian Vineyard now the batter. Christian sacrificed in the 2nd inning. Moved up Spurlock to second base, but Spurlock, you remember, was picked off at second, and that ended that 2nd inning. 1 out, nobody on. Ball down low. Christian Scherzer, 2 wins and a loss on the year.
Well, it's important for Patterson Mill too to keep men off the base here. Each inning they keep getting somebody on and letting somebody get on, and for Michael Segretti to step up and make that play, it's key time to make it.
Little curveball just breaks
missed.
off the,
Yeah.
yeah, that looked good.
He's had
Good take by Vineyard.
A couple pitches where he just missed.
On the outside corner. Umpire keeping us straight here. He makes us keep the count. He's not one of the umpires that gives you the count each inning.
We got lucky Friday night with that. We're
Yes.
gonna have to make sure these we get some scoreboard operators. It is hard to not have that in front of you.
Yeah, the scoreboard here, the electronic scoreboard, as all electronics do, end up not working. Ground ball, third base. Nice hop for the third baseman. Picked up and thrown to first base by Santora.
Yeah, Santora playing in, and he was playing in. Maybe he thought they were bunting. I don't know. Maybe he plays in normally in that situation, but it did take a nice hop to him. Vineyard kind of reached a little for that, and it was an easier play once it hopped up to the third baseman.
Santora to Selic for the 2nd out, and that brings up Jankovic, Dominic Jankovic, who fanned looking back in the 3rd inning. On the outside corner. Scherzer coming back and throwing hard.
Yeah, and he owns that outside corner. I mean, he's really hitting it at will right now. And that's a tough pitch to hit.
Curveball,
Yeah.
had him buckled.
Yeah, he's dealing. Well, why not? You're facing the bottom of the lineup. You're coming off 3 runs. Be aggressive. Hit that outside corner. Get him back in the dugout.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on. Up high, had a notion, laid off.
Yeah, it looked like he wasted that one. I think the 2-strike pitch is the toughest pitch to hit. Maybe you make him swing, but he definitely wasted that pitch up high. Watch him come back outside now.
Ground ball, moving, third baseman. By the third baseman to the shortstop throw, and the out is recorded. Beautiful play there by shortstop Vujanic, who came in. The third baseman Santora ball went right under his glove. Vujanic came in, made the pickup, throw to Selic, and the out is recorded.
Yeah, it's a great play. We talked about him being a good athlete, also being the quarterback for the Patterson Mill Huskies. He proved why. That was a ball that you would think Nick Santora wanted. He tried, he just couldn't get to it. And the next thing you know, Nathan Van Janix comes flying through and makes the play.
Yeah, that ball stayed down on Santora, went right under his glove. Vujanic never gave up on it, came in, made the pickup and the throw on the run, and he got the out at first base fairly easily. Probably the best game we've seen, best play of the game we've seen so far.
That we were right about that, and it's big. If Milton Wright gets on there, it's another runner with 2 outs, and Patterson Mill doesn't need a longer inning. You're putting extra pitches on your pitcher when you let men on with 2 outs. So getting back in the dugout, maybe it gets Christian Scherzer a little more distance into this game, and it also lets Nathan Van Janek come up, and I bet you he's the leadoff hitter.
Well, if he isn't, he should be.
Well, let's see.
I think it's Heyman.
No, we got the bottom of the lineup.
Yeah,
so
Heyman is the number 9 hitter coming up.
It doesn't hold true that the guy that makes the great defensive play always leads off the inning.
Doesn't always happen, but it seems like it happens a lot. Well, both Scott Elliott and myself, we have taken off our jackets. The weather has improved. It's probably getting into the mid-60s now. Just a great, great day for baseball.
Yeah, both teams deserve that. It's been tough around here weather-wise. So.
Top of the 5th inning, number 9 hitter Caleb Heyman coming up. Heyman, who lined out to the first baseman back in the 3rd inning. We're now in the top of the 5th. We're tied at 3.
That's a critical part for MJ Cummings too. He's got to battle back and get him down 1, 2, 3. He's got the 9 hitter up. If Patterson Mill wants to get a rally, now's the time to do it, right? You got the middle of the lineup coming up, leadoff hitter on deck.
Inside.
3-0. So MJ Cummings needs to realize, and maybe, what do we say in Edgewood? Bow the neck.
Bow your neck.
Bow your neck and really start getting tough here so that he can get some strikes, get this team going. There's one.
Strike on the inside corner.
He's going to need 2 more now.
Your number 9 hitter, you go 3-0 now. Are you just trying to be too fine, or you getting a little bit tired?
Yeah, I'm sure he's a little bit tired. You got to fight through it.
Up high, ball 4.
Yeah, you got a catcher doing his job there, leadoff walk.
Heyman, the sophomore, goes down to first base, and that'll bring up the top of the lineup in the person of Ethan Schultz. Last time up, Ethan got a single. He was part of that 3-run rally. He got thrown out to, didn't score. He was thrown out on the force out from 3rd to first, but he did advance the runner.
This is where I love watching Patterson Mill, because they're going to make something happen. They got a lefty pitcher on the mound.
Line shot, base hit. He didn't waste any time. That's his 2nd hit of the game.
You're in a situation too where Patterson Mill with Ethan Schultz at the plate has a lot of options. I mean, Milton Wright had a little trouble relaying that in, but they are going to have their coach come out. This looks like a pitching change, so we'll have a little bit of time to talk. But Ethan Schultz, last year watching Patterson Mill a lot, he could swing the bat. You knew that he's not a big kid, but he puts the bat on the ball. So in that situation, you're tempted, Coach Roseland, to maybe lay down a bunt, move the runner over. But that is not what Ethan Schultz does. And why? Because Coach Matt Roseland knows him. He knows he swings a good bat. He's just as likely to hit the ball in the gap as bunt the runner over. So I like that move. I like Ethan swinging there and getting a big hit knocks the pitcher out of the game.
They will be taking the pitcher out. They're going to bring in Joe Burns, number 14. I don't have any stats on Joe, so I can't tell you a lot about him other than the fact, as you see, he is a right-hander. So Michael Cummins, MJ Cummins, taken out of the game here in the top of the 5th inning, no outs. So he's gone 4 innings plus 2 batters, giving up the 3 runs on a total of 3 base hits. And these 2 hitters, or these 2 runners, his responsibility.
And it gives us a chance too, while there's a pitching change, we'll stay on the topic of pitching. I wanted to mention, and I told you before the game, these 2 teams have a legacy in pitching. Their 2 stars from last year are both pitching at the Division I collegiate level. So Corey Polson from Milton Wright is now pitching for the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. He's appeared in several games. Looks like he's getting some time. He's got as many strikeouts as walks. Looks like he's doing the job. And of course, Austin Keene from Patterson Mill, who was an all-state performer, all-county and all-state last year for Patterson Mill, is at University of North Carolina Greensboro, who's off to their team is actually 22-12, having a great year. And Austin has been promoted from their Sunday starter to their Saturday starter, which in college baseball terms, that's a big deal, especially as a freshman. And his stats, 2.86 ERA, 2-1 losses, and he's off to a great start as a freshman.
Well, let's see what Joe Burns can do now. He comes in inheriting a tough situation. 2 on, nobody out. Brandon Sue's the batter. Brandon is 1 for 2. Singled last time up and scored the first run of the game for Patterson Mill.
A lot of options here for Patterson Mill. Seuss can handle the bat. He's taking a pitch, and he's going to square right around on the second pitch.
You don't expect a bunt when you square around that early.
They're
That's
bunting,
exactly
they're
what
slashing.
happened.
So a little bit of slash and run. Shows the bunt early to see if Milton Wright throws their bunt rotation into play, which they do not. They don't take the bait, and he's swinging away. Chops it foul, so he's got 2 strikes. So Seuss is a good contact guy, so he's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes, but on the mound, you got to think about striking him out to set up the double
And
play.
Brett Snyder, the shortstop, way over toward the second base. So that third baseman, Vineyard, he's in that swing door situation where he either has to charge to get the bunt or depend on the pitcher, Burns, coming over and making the play.
Nice pitch.
Strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, he got him on that.
Oh, yeah, that was the third
He got
strike.
him. Yeah, he put it right on the corner. The ump's been consistent with that call. And Seuss might have, thought about it, thought it was going to drift outside, but it stayed right on the
Big
corner.
strikeout. Santora now up. 1 out, the runners stay at first and second. Heyman at second, Schultz on at first base. Brings up Nick Santora. Nick walked last time up, scored a run. He's 0 for 1 officially. Santora, the third hitter in the lineup, a .290 hitter, takes a strike.
It's like the first curveball there, and then that was broken off nicely to get ahead of the number 3 hitter in the Patterson Mill lineup.
Burns comes in throwing strikes.
Yeah, and that's a nice curveball too. Late break.
Pop up, infield, first baseman moving, looking.
It's going to be
He'll
your
make the catch.
infield fly rule. So
Matt Long making that catch.
in that situation, your
Actually,
batter's out.
Excuse me, Scott. They did move Cummings to first base, so Matt Long is out of the game. MJ Cummings goes to first base, so Cummings makes that out. 2 out now on the pop-up. Now Vujanic, the number 4 hitter, who reached on a fielder's choice last time and scored a run. 2 out, runners at first and second. Burns has come in and done the job so far. Curveball. Strike 1.
He's going to throw some curveball first strikes, and Patterson Mill needs to be ready for that. I know it's the first time they've seen him, but if he hangs that, you got to bang it.
485 hitter is Vujanic. Scott, as you said, the football quarterback, he is quite an athlete.
He's a good guy to have up right now.
Line
That's
shot,
why.
right center. That's a base hit. Falling in, the run will turn third and coming in to
It's a
score.
great relay by Spurlock from
Here's
center.
the throw. He's going to be safe at home. It looked like the cutoff was made and not really sure of the play. There was a bit of a delay throwing home.
Yeah, there need to be some
That allowed
better.
Vujanic to go to second base.
Right, and I think maybe a little better communication. Spurlock made a great play on that. He not only got a good jump, but he tracked it, going away from the play, throwing across his body, hitting the relay man and setting up a play at the plate, but it was just a little late.
So the RBI is recorded by Vujanic. The run scores by Heyman. That'll bring up Christian Scherzer. Patterson Mill now up by 4-3. Ground ball third base by the third baseman. The base hit will score 1 and now will score 2. That ball hit hard. It just didn't come up. Went by the third baseman.
Yeah, it stayed down, and it was hit hard with some topspin.
So Schultz will score from second base, and from third base, I should say. And Vujanic, who had moved up on that throw home, will score from second. So 3 runs now in here in the top of the 5th inning, and a 6-3 lead for Patterson Mill, bringing up Segretti now. Segretti is 0 for 1, struck out. Throw down to second base, and diving, he is out at second base. The ball bounced, but the out is recorded from catcher Heyman to the shortstop, from catcher Kupsenik to the shortstop Brett Snyder, and the out is recorded.
Well, Patterson Mill being aggressive, as you would expect. They never stop being aggressive. But I have to give some credit to them in that inning. I thought Burns did a great job coming in relief and getting ahead of batters. I don't think he made any mistake in that pitch to Vujanic. Vujanic just drove it, and credit goes to him on that. It was well played all the way around. I thought that inning was well played. A little surprising to see 3 runs come off it, because I thought Milton Wright did a pretty good job in that inning. But the inning goes to Patterson Mill, and Milton Wright's on. It's going to be their turn to answer now in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, 2 3-run alleys, or I should say 3. Three 3-run rallies, scoring all with 2 outs. this case, it looked like you said Joe Burns was just about ready to get out of it, but the big base hit by Vujanic and then the error allowing 2 more runs to score. So it is 6-3 now. Patterson Mill trailing by 3-0. Now they're leading by 6-3, and as you said, Scott, it's up to C. Milton to answer.
Yeah, they're going to have to answer. I mean, Christian Scherzer's throwing a lot of pitches, so you have to go in your dugout and say, look, let's get him off the mound. Objective number 1 is to get him off the mound and get to the bullpen. And not to knock Mr. Burns at all for C. Milton Wright. Patterson Mill got into the bullpen, but Burns, I thought he came out and did well. Even on the at-bat with Vujanic, I think he threw a first pitch curveball strike that I commented on. And then the fastball might have been a little flat, but Vujanic hammered it, so the credit goes to him.
Now let's see if the Mustangs can come back. They'll send up hitters number 8 and 9. Zach Stiers, their DH. Zach got a single, scored the first run of the ball game back in the 3rd inning for C. Milton.
And you see Christian Scherzer right away coming out, trying to hit that outside corner. And I'm sure that's Coach Benson too, because Austin Keene used to do it last year. They want to get ahead on the first pitch strike.
Ground ball third base, over the third baseman, base hit. Right down that third base line, so Stiers has been up, and twice he's hit the ball down the left field foul line for base hits.
Yeah, I mean, Scherzer didn't get the first pitch strike, so he had to kind of get that one across. He's pitching with the lead. I think that's a good read by Zach Stiers to know that he's going to throw a strike and sit on it. That was well hit.
So this is Joe Burns now. Burns, who came in and took the position of Matt Long. So Burns, who came in to pitch, is now batting.
And he is showing bunt and then going back into his stance.
Down by 3 runs, you wouldn't expect him to bunt.
No,
you never know.
But he could be given the take the pitch sign, and they want to make Scherzer throw. If I'm seeing right, I want to draw out the inning, get Scherzer's pitch count up, get him off the mound, get into the bullpen.
Run on at first, nobody out.
That's correct. That is, and you've heard me probably give Coach Benson the credit before, but holding the ball a little longer there, changing the tempo on the mound, and as a result, the swing was a little late. And Scherzer knows I might be getting into my late innings, but I'm going to change some things up on you. I'm going to make sure the runner stays close to first. There's his throw over, right on cue. So Patterson Mill, you have to admit they're not only well coached, but they get it. Like, as a team, they're crafty, and they're trying to realize right here, we want to keep the 3-run lead, not let you get an easy one.
Remember, they have 2 pickoffs already in this game.
Right.
Swung on a miss, Burns.
Right, he's challenging Burns. That's a good pitch. Now he's up 0-2. I think he's going to make sure the runner stays tight to first, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a curveball on the outside part of the plate here.
Remember, Scherzer just a sophomore.
He's just, and he knows he can throw
really
it.
Showing it.
He knows he can throw it in the dirt here because he knows Caleb Heyman can block it.
On the outside corner, strike 3.
Well, I was wrong. He went to the fastball on the outside corner, and that might have been exactly what Joe Burns was thinking, curveball outside, and here this ball just picks up speed on you and blows by. So good pitch there by Christian Scherzer, good call all the way around, and Patterson Mill's trying to work out of a jam here.
That's the 4th strikeout of the game for Scherzer. We'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Eric Brett Snyder. Brett Snyder 0 for 1. He walked last time up and scored.
Yeah.
Flew out to left in the 1st inning.
So right guy at the plate here for C. Milton Wright, because he's a tough out. I know this kid. I know he's really. We'll let the pitch go here.
Up high.
He's going to make Scherzer work. And if you're Patterson Mill, what you want to do is get the next couple outs and split the lineup for C. Milton Wright. Which for C. Milton Wright, you want to get your leadoff hitter on. You want to get your middle of the lineup a chance to score runs.
Pop up, going back, foul, and out of play.
I had you on that one, Don.
You're right. I was under this table. It's my new move. Used to be 10 years ago, I would have gone for the ball. Now, wisdom has taught me go under the table. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, runner at first base.
Big payoff pitch here.
Check it, just 1 out.
Tough batter.
Swung on and missed.
So
there's the 2nd strike.
That was a good high curveball. You don't see a lot of those, but that's a tough pitch to hit.
It is.
And it's really well done at the right time. And Patterson Mill seems to be getting a lot of their signs from the dugout. So we'll see what they have in store here.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Down low. Now we have a full count, and if you're C. Milton Wright, do you turn that runner loose down by 3 runs?
Depends on who he is and if he can get the bag. You have to get the bag. You can't, you have to be aggressive, but you can't be out if you do that. I know that's easy coaching, but that's the fact.
Milton staying down low. Good block. Going down to second base, and now it is a full count.
If you're going to block that one, you're in all-state territory, because
Yep.
that was not a curveball in the dirt. That was a wild pitch. It really was out of the zone. Tough block, and it does let the runner go down. So now your double play is messed up, and you got to get the strikeout.
Ground ball up to the third baseman. Off the third baseman's glove. It's going to go into.
It's going to go
and
out of play.
That could be like 2 bases now. They may advance the runners.
Yeah.
Let's see where the umpires put the runners.
The runner's
They're
going
gonna
to
let the
score.
one to score.
And the other one will go to second.
Second base. So the error to the third baseman, the run will score. And that'll make it 6-4 now. As Brett Snyder will go down to second base on the 2-base error. Unfortunately for the Huskies, that ball hit the third baseman's glove and went all the way into the dugout and out of play, which gave the runners an extra base. Kobzinski now. Kobzinski is 1 for 1 officially. Got a single and RBI last time up. Hit by the pitch in the first inning. Swung on and missed.
Nice pitch. I mean, the eyes kind of now focus on Scherzer, because he's tired. This inning he was doing well, but now with a run in the books and the tying run at the plate, he needs to execute.
There's a play at second base, back safely. Another one of those pickoff moves, well timed by Patterson Mill.
And they want him to know that they're thinking about him. They want him to stay close. I think that's smart. You got the middle of the lineup here, so you have to make sure you're keeping him as close to second as you can.
Kobzinski, a .429 batter on the year. Down low. Heyman goes down, makes a nice stop. One out, runner at second base. As Scott said, tie runner at the base. I should say at the bat. There's another play at second base. It was so well timed. You know that Scherzer doesn't even think about it. He just turns and throws the ball and knows that Vujanic is going to be there, and he was.
And Vujanic does a good job of getting across the bag. He's not tied up with the runner. He's there to make the play.
He's in close. Pop up. Catcher moving. Heyman. Tough play. Did he catch it? Yes. No, they're going to say no, he didn't catch it. Well, that's the ball that you're taught it'll come back toward the mound, so you got to turn, put your back to the mound. He did that correctly, but the ball just seemed to evade his grasp.
Right. I don't know if the wind played into it a little, but it came back to the field a little more than he thought.
So Kobzinski has life now. Good try by Heyman, unable to make the catch. There's the throw now. This time it's no, and the ball goes into center field. Backed up neatly, though, by Ethan Schultz. Time it was the second baseman, Seuss, who came over.
Yeah, it was a good throw. It was there. Seuss has to remember that runner. Catch the ball first, then tag. Big pitch here.
Nick Kobzinski swung on and missed. Looked like he took a
Oh,
little bit
they
off that
fell
one.
asleep there. Come on. Oh, boy.
Back
Sloppy.
safely.
Sloppy.
Guess he thought it was 2 out. And
I don't know
instead,
what. You can't make that mistake
he
if you're
came off the
Patterson. No,
base.
you cannot make that mistake. And the reason is you got the number 3 hitter coming up. If you now, to point fingers, Milton Wright fell asleep first. They didn't
Yes.
realize and run back to second base. He was caught in no man's land. But Patterson Mill needs to throw him out and be out of the inning. And now they're going to give the 3 hitter a chance.
Hunter Wright at the bat. Yeah, if you didn't see what happened, the runner at second base must have thought there were 2 outs, and so he journeyed off second base.
Right.
Got back safely.
Right. And
Hunter Wright,
Patterson
who had
Mill,
that triple last time up. Remember, he got the 2 RBI triple back in the 3rd inning.
correct. And he's not a guy I would want to mess with. And he is looking to pound that left field line. Michael Segretti out in left needs to hug the line right now.
He is the tie runner, is Hunter Wright. Curveball, beautiful block by Heyman.
That's a good pitch and a nice play by Caleb Heyman. He's been digging him out all day, other than the one that was, like I said, I think more of a wild pitch that was tougher to block. That's by design, that pitch is low and in the dirt.
Hunter Wright 1 for 2. He fanned back in the 1st inning, got that big triple. Throw back to second base, and he's back safely. Boy, Heyman, so impressive as a sophomore. Threw that ball all the way through. made it close to second base.
He can. I know he'll probably watch this. If he can work on his footwork a little more, so his body's a little more into each throw. He's got a good live arm, but it's footwork now. He's young, can develop it.
Line shot into left field, moving and catching it in left field. That ball hung up. It looked like it was going to fall in. Segretti comes in and makes the catch on the line out to left field. So 1 run does score.
You know, give credit to Hunter Wright. I mean, he jumped on that. We talked earlier about him pounding the ball to left field. Michael Segretti was right on it, jumped right on it, no hesitation at all, and we got the 3rd out. So, well, Simon Wright gets a run.
Yeah, 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 runner left on base. We've now played 5 full. 6-4 is the score. Patterson Mill leading by those 2 runs.
Yeah, and that's I would give that inning to Patterson Mill, obviously, because you know they scored the runs to go ahead, but C. Milton threatened and got 1 back. I thought Patterson Mill, and in particular Christian Scherzer, did a good job of getting out of that inning with minimal damage and splitting the C. Milton Wright lineup. You got Jake Spurlock, their best hitter, will lead off the next inning, and if you got to face him leading off.
Yeah.
You know, and not in a position where he can drive in runs plus score runs. So Patterson Mill has executed that, and I think they really fell asleep and didn't, you know, in the field, and they did not get the executed 3rd out.
And Wright almost made them play because he hit the ball right on the nose, but in this case, right at the left fielder, unlike the last time when he hit it up the left center field gap.
Right. So you get lucky, and they got lucky, and now they have to say, okay, we got to tighten up the defense as we move into the latter part of the game. And the best way to tighten up your defense is to come out and score a couple runs this inning, and we'll see what they do on the mound. I don't know where Christian Scherzer's pitch count is, but I would imagine he's getting up there, and we do have restrictions on that in the league.
Michael Segretti will lead off here in the top of the 6th inning. Segretti, who's 0 for 1, he fanned and walked, got an RBI on a bases loaded walk last time up. Segretti with a .483 batting average, 2 doubles, 5 runs scored, 10 RBIs.
And he made the good play in left field, and he leads off the inning. So
there you go. Hey, there goes our almost every time works.
Almost
every time.
We'll see what he can do. He gets a good shot here, and we're moving into the later innings. The bottom of the lineup for Patterson Mill needs to get some runs against Mr. Burns if they want to wrap this up.
Joe Burns came in to pitch, almost wiggled himself out of that last inning, got 2 out, but the big base hit by Vujanic.
Yeah, Burns did a good job. And
ground ball shortstop. Moving on to this, Brett Snyder. Long throw, and he is safe at first base. He beats it out. Boy, nice running by Segretti.
I think that's a good call. That ump was right on that play. It was bobbled. I thought Eric Brettenschneider did another good job picking it up and throwing it. It was slowly hit, but you know, good play all the way around. Patterson Mill now with a runner at first.
Peyton Selleck now the batter. Peyton the first baseman. Squares like he's going to butt. Takes it back. Throw back to first base. He is safe.
Good job getting back by Michael Segretti.
Good play by Kopczynski too, throwing the ball right behind it.
Didn't even hesitate. Came right up throwing.
So Segretti's on at first base on the arrow. Nobody out. Selleck the batter.
It's 1-2-0 by whatever Don,
whatever that means.
Whatever 1-2-0.
So now we give out numbers. We don't do the hand signs.
No, but the butt rotation's on and the bunt is down and foul.
The lost art, especially in the major leagues, of bunting the ball.
Yeah, you don't. It's one thing to do it in the cage in BP, but it's another thing to practice it live on the field, and that's where a lot of guys just don't get the opportunity. Now, Patterson Mill's the exception. They will bunt on you. Even I've seen them do it for years. It could be on here for 2 or 3 strikes.
Curveball, back to first base again. Boy, both these 2 catchers, I've said it so many times, I'll say it again. They are on their game. Both sophomores. Kopczynski up and throwing the ball right on the money. Joe Burns, that curveball for the strike. He's got 2 strikes now.
Well, that was a curveball, which I always like bunting because it's breaking down, which you want to get the bunt down. Peyton took it, and now he's in a jam with 2, but the ball's in the dirt and blocked well.
Kopczynski again.
Yeah.
Nobody out. Runner at first base. That's Segretti. 2-run lead for Patterson Mill, looking to add on. We are in the top of the 6th inning. As you know, in high school baseball, just 2 innings left. Line drive, left field, moving.
That's going to get down, I think.
It does. Base hit. Falls into left field in front of left fielder Jankovic.
Peyton Sulich coming through there. I mean, you know, he wants to get the runner across. Doesn't quite do it with the bunt. So what do you do to make the coach happy? Hammer it in the left for a base hit.
Ray Gutierrez now the batter. Ray's 0 for 2. Now would you bunt him up here, let him move runners to second and third?
I think so. And I think that's what we're going to hear Milton Wright talk about. No, they're actually going to make a pitching change.
Coach Amaral comes out. He is going to make a pitching change.
And we'll get the
Burns
number
goes
here.
out. Looks like number 2 coming in. Let's see if we can find out on our. This is Deswalski, Nate Deswalski, number 2. Again, we don't have stats on the Milton Wright pitchers. So Burns goes out. Deswalski comes in to replace him.
Yeah, it's. I thought Burns did a pretty good job. That's a, you know, in relief, tough position to be in. But you know, Milton Wright has to make a move here too to keep the inning from getting away from him. If Patterson Mill's in a situation with a 9-hitter where they can bunt him up, and then you got to go through the top of the order, and the guy hitting at the top of the order, Patterson Mill, is probably the guy I fear the most, and that's Ethan Schultz, because you know, I told you I watched him last year, and he puts the bat on the ball.
Yeah, he's 2 for 3. And remember, the only time they got him out was that line drive to start the game that, you know, should have been a double down the line, except for the play at third base by Vineyard.
Right, exactly. And you know, I hear my son Max talk about him last year, and he'd say he can bang it. You know, so if you're Milton Wright, you know that's coming up, so you want to get somebody on the mound, give him a different look. Be ready for the bunt here. You want to make sure you're reviewing the bunt rotation with your team, so maybe that Patterson Mill can bunt into an out, and you can kind of keep Ethan Schultz from coming up and doing more damage.
Yeah, Gutierrez will be the batter, to be followed by Heyman, and then up to the top of the order. Interesting to see if Gutierrez lays it down here. You would think he would.
Well, you would, because he's got, you know, the catcher Caleb Hyman coming up behind him, and then Schultz behind him. So, you know, the play here for Patterson Mill is to get to the top of the lineup with men in scoring position.
So Nate Deswalski, excuse me, D-Z-W-U-L-S-K-I. Nate Deswalski. Ray Gutierrez popped up to the third baseman and popped up to the pitcher. He's 0 for 2. Comes in batting at .412, 7 for 17 with a double. Left-handed pitcher.
Another lefty. Milton Wright's got lefty bats and lefty arms.
Yeah. Squaring to bunt.
Rotation's on.
Dives at the ball again.
So Milton Wright was running an anchor play with the third baseman anchoring at third, the first baseman crashing, second baseman covering first, and the shortstop would naturally cover second. That means the pitcher has to cover a bunt to third base. So if you're Patterson Mill here, the one thing you may want to do with a lefty pitcher is put the bunt down third baseline, make him step across the fence and throw it. Yep, they're going to bunt right back to the pitcher.
He fakes to third, now throws to first for the out. Nice sacrifice. Good play by pitcher Deswalski.
Yeah, and he might have lost his footing just a hair and decided it was too close at third to make the play, so he took the first out that he could get. And now he's going to be in a second and third situation.
We give a lot of credit to the bunter, because Gutierrez able to get the ball down. That'll bring up the catcher now.
You might see another bunt here. I mean, Patterson Mill.
Second and third and just one out.
Yeah, you got a catcher up, a smart kid.
Takes a strike on the inside corner.
It looks like he's swinging away. The infield's in. So one reason not to bunt is that when you are hitting with the infield in, your average automatically goes up. You know, statistically speaking, you're a better hitter with more opportunities and angles to get hits, drive the ball.
Milton Wright is in to cut the run off if they can. Foul ball at the plate, 0-2.
I like his being aggressive there. I like the pitch, because the pitch is tailing away and tough pitch to really drive, but I like the attitude of being aggressive with the infield in.
If you see Milton Wright, here's where you need the strikeout.
You do. You still got to face Schultz, but you got to get 2 outs when you face him.
1 out, runners at second and third. A 2-run lead for Patterson Mill, looking to add on. We're in the top of the 6th inning, timeout called.
I like that. You know, maybe break the pitcher's rhythm here. I'm looking, the pitcher seems to be likes to turn the ball over. His ball's riding away from the right-handed hitters a little. Let's see if he tries that again.
Deswalski. Outside, 1-2.
Just missed.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Runners at second and third. Segretti got on an error. Single by Selic, bunted up. A nice play by Gutierrez. Pop up, foul, and out of play.
Well, Caleb Heyman is hanging tough, right? And that's what you got to do in this situation. You're protecting the plate, anything close. Last thing you want is a strikeout. You want to put the ball in play, make C. Milton Wright make a play, or hope it goes through.
Caleb 0 for 1, lined out to the first baseman, walked and scored last time up. Ball, 2 strikes. Down low, great stop by Kubzinski.
I mean, how confident can you be if you're Nate Dzwolski on the mound and you know anything low like that, it's going to get sucked right up by the catcher.
Absolutely.
Gives you confidence to throw that low strike.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, runners at second and third. Line drive.
That's going to do it.
Right center field. It's going to fall for the base hit. 1 run will score, and bobbling the ball but hanging on at third base as 1 run will score and 1 run single by Heyman.
Well, in the game of chess, you know, you're looking to make a move now. By bringing the infield in, the thing you're vulnerable to on a 2-strike pitch is somebody just throwing the bat head out and dropping it in over the infielders, which is exactly what happened. Good piece of hitting, though. You got to protect the plate. Caleb Heyman does it. He gets the RBI.
And the 7th run of the game for Patterson Mill is coming in as Segretti from third base. Hanging on at third base is Selick. Hanging on at first base is Heyman, and that'll bring up the man, Schultz. Ethan Schultz, who is 2 for 3. Right inside.
And he's stalking that pitch, too. He looks very confident in there. You know,
Scott, you got runners at first and third. You would think, again, given the aggressive nature, that Matt Roseland would put that runner at first base in motion.
You might. Line drive double plays your threat there with a man in scoring position, so you might just want to let Ethan do his work.
Half
That's a
swing.
good pitch. That's the pitch I'm talking about that looks like it rides away from the right-handed batter. And he was ready to pull the trigger, but as the ball's drifting on him, he realizes I can't drive that. And you got, you know, Nate Dzwolski doing a really good job getting back the count even again.
2 for 3 is Schultz. Lined out, singled and singled. Turns, there's the bunt. The safety squeeze. Ball is fouled off.
Not a bad idea. It's putting a safety squeeze on and knowing Ethan Schultz is a good 2-strike hitter. But, you know, he's also a guy that can bang it in the gap. So you're kind of giving that advantage. Now he's a 2-strike hitter.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Ethan Schultz, the batter. Ground ball back to the pitcher, off the pitcher's glove. And that will be a base hit. Tough luck for C. Milton Wright. That ball looked like it was going to the pitcher. He was going to be able to glove it. He wasn't able to, and the run will score on the RBI single by Ethan Schultz.
Yeah, and that's one where if the shortstop, you want it to almost get through because you're heading to the bag. You're probably going to catch it and turn the double play. So that's a tough blow for C. Milton Wright. No fault. They're both trying to be aggressive, but Ethan Schultz comes through, gets the run in, and now you're in a situation where Braden Seuss has got the opportunity to do some damage.
Braden 1 for 3. Up high. Good play by Kubzinski up to catch that ball high. Runners at first and second. Heyman on at second. Schultz on at first base. Schultz now 3 for 4, and Scott, the only time they got him out was that line drive that the third baseman went up and made the catch in the first inning.
Yeah, he's been a good hitter today and all year.
2 balls, no strikes. Brandon Schultz flew out to right field in the first, singled and scored in the fourth. Fan looking last time up. 417 hitter on the year. 7-4 now the lead for Patterson. Now it's ball 3. Suddenly it looks like Dzwolski has lost his rhythm.
Well, you know, the infield needs to talk to him. He probably feels he should have had a ground ball double play, and now you got to change your mind to the batter at the plate now, not the guy that was just hitting. And they need to remind him. They need to show some support.
Braden Seuss takes the pitch on the outside corner. 3 balls and a strike. Number 3 hitter Nick Santoro on deck. So you're coming into the heart of the order.
You are. And pitchers need support.
Up high, ball 4. That'll load the bases.
All right, now you heard me say it when we did the broadcast Friday night. Coach Williams at Edgewood would have blamed that on me. Because as a middle infielder, you need to come in and settle your pitcher down after a play like the one Schultz hit back up the middle. You need to talk to the pitcher and say, hey, threw a couple balls, let's forget it. Now you're in a situation where you got pulled.
Looks like Mike Amaril's coming in. He will bring in the right fielder, Hunter Wright. We were told that we would probably see Hunter Wright pitch at some point.
Right, and you know, they're doing the calculus in their minds too, because all these innings count, right? And the number of pitches you throw and all that. So they're trying to figure out, based on who they play next, how they want to use their pitching staff.
Burns, Deswalski, and now Wright coming in, all in this top of the 6th inning. And if you're Coach Mike Amaral, you know this is the game. We can't let it get out of hand here. We're already down 3 runs. Bases loaded, just 1 out. In the heart of the order, Santoro, Vucanic, and Christian Scherzer, numbers 3, 4, and 5 coming up.
Yep, and we saw on Friday night, we saw what Aberdeen did with the bases loaded. You know, when high school players tend to play a little tighter when they see men on the corners and up the middle, and everywhere they look, there are Patterson middle runners. So he's going to a guy that he told beforehand, you're going to get the pitch. He looks big and confident, and he's trying to get out of the inning with one of his better guys. Throws the ball well.
Again, bases loaded, 1 out. Scott, you're the manager. Would you bring your infield in, make the home first double play, or would you go for the double play with your shortstop and second baseman back going the regular double play route?
A lot of things to consider there. Number one, your pitcher. You know, what is he going to throw? You know, what is there a likelihood that he throws a lot of ground balls? And if you're bringing the infield in at any time, you're worried about, you know, that particular run ahead of you. And in this situation, corners in, go home to first, shortstop, second base, turn the double play. But having said that, you know, we saw a couple ground balls up the middle that looked like they took a while to get to the shortstop. But you gauge your runner, your batter, I should say, and if you don't think he can leg it out, you play back up the middle and you play in on the corners, and that looks to be what they're going to do.
Nick Santoro is 0 for 2. He has walked and scored a run, grounded out in the first, popped up to first in the 5th. Again, bases loaded, 1 out. Hunter Wright, the pitcher. Down low and by the catcher. And a run will score on the wild pitch.
Yeah, I didn't really see that coming. His warm-ups looked good, and that just got away from him, and really couldn't get Nick couldn't get over there fast enough to block it.
3rd run of the inning. They'll make the run. They score up now to 9 to 4. Runners go up to 2nd and 3rd. Inside, ball 2. Yeah, the ball skipped right by Kobzinski, hit just about a foot or so in front of the plate, and he wasn't able to block it.
Right. Now the infield does come in. We should make that note. They kind of have to. I mean, their hands forced. They have to stop the runs.
Ball 3, 3 balls, no strikes.
The only thing you can do here is try to, you know.
Scott, you giving him the go here with 3-0?
I am, because this is a pitch that could get laid right down the middle, and you got a good hitter.
Takes it on the inside corner. 3 balls and a strike.
And you know, everybody plays that different. There's some guys that hate swinging 3-0. Other guys love it. So you got to play by what the batter wants. He's in the driver's seat. You got to come back with another strike here and hope it's hit to the infielder.
Just foul. Looks like it came off the end of the bat and kind of squiggled up that 3rd base line. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runners at 2nd and 3rd.
Well, Hunter Wright's battled back. You know, now he's in a position where he can get a strikeout with first base open, or he can walk him.
Schultz on at 3rd. Seuss on at 2nd base. Ground ball foul.
Good.
Ball was probably ball 4, but hey, you know, with 2 strikes, you don't want to take anything close.
You got to make him protect the plate. Now, Hunter Wright, conversely, if he walks him on a low pitch like that, who cares, right? First base is open.
Yeah.
That's why I say he's pitching from a position of strength now. He can be very aggressive, expand the zone if he needs to.
Line shot by the 3rd baseman. 1 run scores. Here comes the 2nd run as the ball is bobbled by that left fielder. So 2-run score on the 2-run single by Santoro. Santoro will go down to 2nd base on that bobble.
That pitch caught a lot of the plate, and Santoro did not miss it.
So 2 runs scored there, and that's 5 runs now scored here in this inning.
And 3 runs is a big inning. 5 runs is a real big inning. It's pushed the lead and pushed this game to a point where Patterson Mills in the driver's seat.
11-4. Vujanic now the batter.
Feels like
Nathan Vujanic, the junior shortstop, 485 hitter, 2 doubles, 9 runs, 11 RBIs, and 7 stolen bases coming in. And now if you're C. Milton Wright, you're in a desperate situation where you're already down by 7 runs. You got to keep it close. You've got only 2 more at-bats, so no more runs you can have score here as Santora is on at second base.
Hey, you need some things to go your way, but it starts with winning the next pitch and getting an out here. It's 2
Ground ball
curveballs
foul.
to Van Janik. He's been on them both. He's not hesitant to swing at the curveball.
Remember, C. Milton Wright coming in with a 3-game winning streak, Patterson Mill with a 2-game losing streak. This is a Chesapeake Division game, a key game. C. Milton at 3-3, Patterson Mill at 4-3, both chasing Bel Air at 4-2. Oh, just low.
I like that pitch. I mean, Hunter Wright,
And
2
Hunter wanted it
curveballs.
too.
Yeah, well, he throws 2 curveballs, and then he's got the eyes set. Vajanik's eyes are set for another curve, and boom, he lasers a fastball. Didn't get the call, but it's a good pitch.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Curveball, line shot, foul. Down that
There's
third base
Patterson
line.
Mill for you. Who saw that coming? All right, a 2-strike steal of third. They're not being held on. There's a reason that they let Santora go there, and they're thinking another curveball, and they guessed right. That was another curveball. If it's in the dirt, even though Nick has been very good at blocking them, you still get the man to third. So Patterson Mill putting the man in motion.
Santora, the runner at second base.
Now C. Milton's tightening up, so both runners are. See that now? C. Milton Wright's in the middle of the infield, which opens up the lanes for Van Janik with 2 strikes. So, Patterson Mill still being aggressive, even with the lead.
Ground ball hits the batter in the box. Vujanic, I think they used to call that a hot dog, getting hit right on that fleshy part of your foot.
Doesn't look like fun.
No. And it's a chilly day. The sun has gone back in. Took my coat off. Maybe that was an improper decision. I should think about putting it back on. Down low and inside and hanging on. Santora, good job by the catcher Kobzinski jumping out and picking up that ball.
Yeah, I don't think Santora thought that got far enough away from him, but if he'd been ready, he might have been able to get there.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
They're still worried about him, holding him on tight.
Line shot into center field, moving back.
Spurlock's got to really go, but he's got.
Spurlock makes the catch. Nice running catch. Well, he got a nice jump on that ball, did Spurlock.
Usually always does, and he just sucked that right up, got to it, and pulled it in.
Hanging on at second base as he had gone a little bit about halfway was Nick Santora. That'll bring up now Christian Scherzer, the pitcher, number 5 hitter. Scherzer is 0 for 3 on the day. He did reach on an error last time up. 2 out now. Fly ball center field. Santora
Test
moving
Spurlock
again.
the other
Spurlock.
way. Not a good idea.
Yeah, do not hit it to center field. Note to self. Third out is recorded, but not until the Patterson Mill Huskies come up with 5 big runs to take that 11-5 lead.
Yeah, another big inning, and they've taken control of the game. Now we'll see what they do. I assume they're gonna. I didn't see anybody warming up. It's hard to tell if they could have warmed somebody up, but we know they got 10 players, so I don't know how they would do that. But Christian Scherzer is coming back to the mound.
5 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors, and 1 runner left on base there in the top of the 6th inning. Having scored now, being shut out in the first 3 innings, Patterson Mill has now scored 3 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, and now 5 in the 6th inning to take that 11-5 lead.
Well, we know they're a tough team. They were.
Pardon me, I'm sorry, it's got 11-4. I was
11-4.
giving C. Milton Wright an extra run. 11-4 is the
Yeah.
score.
Patterson Mill's a good defensive team, and I give them a lot of credit. They lost a lot last year. You graduate Austin Keene, who set every defensive pitching record your school ever had. They graduate Max Elliott, who set virtually every offensive record the school had. You lost Stevie Spencer, who went and plays at Wilmington College. I understand he just had some plates put in his ankle, so he's redshirting, another college player. But you come back with 10 players and grind out a late innings lead here off C. Milton Wright, who looked in the beginning of this game to be ready to, poised to take control of it.
Scott, you talked about the great defensive play. He comes up to lead off. Well, it is Jake Spurlock.
Well, there you
Proving
go.
again our theory. Spurlock made that great catch in the left center field and made the last out. 1 for 2 on the day. Grounds to third base. Fielded by the third baseman.
Oh!
Ventura. And the safe at first base. What happened over there, Scott?
He just dropped the ball. I don't know if the runner maybe bumped it a little as the throw came in. I couldn't quite see that. Spurlock gets down the line. I think he was a little mad at himself for hacking that ball into the ground. But he always runs. Give him credit. He made it a close play, and with the error, he's going to be on at first.
I'll bring up Luke Frezza, the freshman. Frezza, the freshman second baseman, the number 5 hitter in the lineup. 0 for 2. Takes it a bit high. There's a nice play there by third baseman Santora. Came in, got the nice hop, made the nice throw, but didn't get the out.
Yep, just kind of squirted out of the glove. So, you know, we're going to have more pitches on Christian Scherzer's arm now as a result. He's going to throw over a few times.
You wouldn't think down by 7 runs that Spurlock will be going anywhere, but you never know.
I'm a don't steal sign. Remember, it was a do not steal sign I had. I'm running it any case. So, but you can't get thrown out if you. It's the only thing. That
Fly
ball's
ball
hit.
right field, hit well. Coming in though, and it falls in as the wind seemed to catch that ball. Looked like that ball was hit harder than that.
That's a good read by Spurlock.
Gutierrez came in and the ball just fell right in front of him for the base hit.
So we got a rally.
That ball looked like off the bat that it was hit well. Wind was blowing out to left field, so it sort of did catch the ball and dropped it down.
It's blowing cross field. That'll happen. Pattersonville needs to discuss that. You know, right now there's no reason to be playing too deep with the big lead, so you might want to bring him in. We've seen a couple balls not really travel to right field.
Christian Vineyard now, sacrifice and a ground out. 0 for 1 officially.
And Scherzer just comes back with another strike. You know, it's
The 5'9", 145-pound sophomore. We're talking about Christian Scherzer. A 6.35 ERA coming in. 24 hits in 14 and a third innings. He's pitched well. Throw back to second base. Great play by Heyman. You know, you just can't relax against this team.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if he goes to a catcher's camp, works on his footwork, I mean, I like his energy, and he's not afraid. There's no fear factor there, throwing down on Spurlock.
Tip foul.
See, Milton Wright needs some energy here. They're down by a lot, but if they can put a couple runs on the board here, it'll give them what they need, which is a little bit of revitalized effort.
Now by 7 with just 2 innings, the 6th and the 7th to go. Vineyard, pop fly, pitcher coming in. I never saw that either. I did hear it.
He's right behind us.
That
now.
was close to us.
Yeah, the catcher didn't ever see it. Scherzer, you know, there wasn't a lot of pointing by Patterson though either. But
We got no help from the crowd. You notice everybody was looking at us. You guys didn't see the ball? No, it was like a foot behind us.
right, not protected in the booth here.
Yeah, right.
And Scherzer just keeps throwing strikes.
Nice,
Excuse me.
yeah, Christian Vineyard spoiling that ball.
Yeah.
Knew he couldn't hit it, so he just reached out and fouled it to the right.
Live to fight another day.
Big
He knows-
runs out there for Steve Milton Wright. They're down by 7, yeah, but you know, get the big rally here.
You want to get to Pattersonville's bullpen if you can. You know, anything can happen.
Half swing, holds back. Ball is called. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Bottom of the 6th inning. Down low, throw again back to second base. Well, you're right, Scott. His footwork may not be exactly what it will be when he's a finished product, but he puts the ball right on the money every time.
Yes, he's accurate. He's confident. He's got a good arm.
Down low, ball 3 now, full count. Boy, if your shirts are obviously the last thing you want to do is put a free pass on first base. You've got that big 7-run lead.
Right, but you could be getting tired. You're fighting through that. It's late in the game. You know, we had an error to start off the inning here that didn't help you.
Up high, ball 4. We have a bases loaded situation and nobody out.
Right, and it all comes back to the mistakes, and now you got a situation where Milton Wright can get back in the game with an extra base hit.
Looks like we may be having a pitching change.
Or at least a discussion.
Yeah. Scott, you know the coaches. Which of the coaches is that?
That's Coach Bill Benson out there on the mound.
Bill Benson, fourth-year varsity assistant coach.
Yep, and we should give a shout out to his son, who's also a pitcher, and he's on the squad at Washington College. They're having a good year, and I think he is coming up to graduate. So he's their Sunday starter, and his name's also Bill Benson. And you know, Patterson Mill is consistently putting kids in college that can play baseball. So congratulations to the coaching staff and the players.
Matt Roselin, the head coach. Brandon Burehouse, been there 12 seasons, along with Matt Roselin. Patrick Sears also for 12 years. Discussion over. Dominic Jankovic at the bat. Dominic, a fan, grounded out to shortstop, and a great play by Nathan Vujanik.
And that may have been a confidence, pick him up kind of trip to the mound here to get Christian Schertzer through the end of the game.
On the outside corner, strike
So
one.
what does Patterson Mill do when they're in trouble? They paint the black. Strike one right on the corner. Not a pitch you want to hit as a hitter on the first pitch, but it's a first pitch strike.
Infield playing back, looking for the double play if they can get it.
A trick
They got
play.
him- oh, they got
and
him picked off
him.
at first
They
base.
got him, and they got Spurlock hung up
Here
now.
comes the play to the plate, and he is going to be out. Out at the plate on the tag by Heyman. What a great play by Patterson Mill.
Well, you know, I almost, when you said that they were playing for the double play, I realized the first baseman's out of position. He was playing behind the runner. He was not anywhere where he should have been, but the reason he was out of position was to slide in behind on the pickoff play. So kudos to them. I like Spurlock running home. It's about the only thing he can do there.
Runners go to second and third, but the out is recorded at home. That's a big, big out.
They're tricky.
What a nice play.
They're something you can't take your eye off them.
Picked off at first base was Vineyard. They chased him down and then turned and threw the ball to the plate. It looked like he was going to be safe, Spurlock, but then he missed the plate and was tagged out.
And then a big strikeout by
And the
Schertzer.
strikeout. So what was developing as a great big inning is now 2 out and 2 runners on.
Yeah, and that's not on Vineyard. That's not on him. That's on the coach. The coach has got to yell back. He's the one watching the first baseman, and that first baseman cannot be seen by the runner. So you have to, as soon as he makes his cut, you got to yell back and be definitive so that you don't get your man picked off.
Zach Stiers, he's got 2 hits, 2 for 2. 2 singles to left field. He scored 2 runs. So what had started as a great big inning for Milton Wright, a big potential, now
How many times do you see that? He's
Strike.
dealing now. He's dealing on the mound.
1 ball, 1 strike. Zach Stiers again 2 for 2. He scored the 2 runs, as we said. 2 of the 4 runs that have been scored by Milton Wright. Up high. Christian Schertzer, again, a young man, but he has thrown a lot of pitches today. Like you said, Scott, we don't have access to the pitch count, but he's probably in the 80, maybe 90 range.
I guess 70s at least.
Swung on, good pitch. Heyman can't find it, now finds it, and is tagged out. That is the 3rd out of the inning.
Scherzer coming back with 2 strikeouts, you know,
And that big pickoff.
and the big pickoff. So you go back to the pickoff. I think 2 years ago in a game, Patterson Mill against Milton Wright, I'm almost positive Patterson Mill won the game with the tying run at second base on a fake pickoff to second. They faked like they overthrew second in the center field. The runner, thinking what just happened, drifts off the bag, and Patterson Mill tags him out. They've run that play many times. They ran it in a regional championship game. And again, it's on the coaches. You have to be yelling to your players. They get caught up in the moment, and they're also not watching players cutting behind them. So, you know, Patterson Mill runs those plays. They practice those plays. They execute those plays. The county knows it, and they still pull them off.
Well, 3 big pickoffs by Patterson Mill. That one, I think, just took the heart right out of Milton Wright. They had that
Absolutely.
bases loaded. They really thought that Patterson Mill had made a mistake. It ended up Patterson Mill knew exactly what they were doing. Santura almost avoided that tag, missed the first tag tried to put on by Heyman. Heyman hung with it, tagged him out at the plate.
So I said that this might be a pick-me-up with Coach Benson going out to the mound to talk to Scherzer as they got in a little jam there. It might have also been to say, if the count gets to this, we're running the play, so nobody screw it up. And, you know, put the little bug in their ear that look to the dugout, we're going to put the play on, and sure enough, they do. Now, you know, I can't tell you how many times they've done that and pulled it off, but you're right about stealing the heart of the opponent. You know, that's what that play was all about. That was to end the game right there in the in the sixth.
No run, a hit, an error, 2 runners left on base for C. Milton. So we've now played 6 full with 11-4 the score. Patterson Mill, they like nothing more than to add a few more as we come to the top of the 7th inning. Send up Michael Segretti now. Michael has been on twice. He reached on a walk, reached on an error, struck out. He scored a run, had an RBI on that bases loaded walk back in the 4th inning. Segretti, a .483 hitter, 2 doubles.
Now this is my guy. I've been rooting for him all game. That's a nice curveball strike there.
We should explain that. You're not partial to any team. You're rooting for him because he
carried all that mulch. Yeah, he volunteered his time, and they had a great fundraiser at Patterson Mill on Saturday that I helped him with. There you go.
To left center field, right at the left fielder, goes back and makes the catch.
He couldn't have hit that. It made
Dominic
it better.
Jankovic.
Yeah.
He did hit it well.
Yeah, but Jankovic right there. I mean, you can hit them well if you hit them. Well, you hit them where they ain't, right? And that unfortunately was right at him. But
Wee Willie Keeler, who I knew in my youth, Wee Willie played for the 1890 Baltimore Orioles, popularized the term "hit them where they ain't."
And it holds true. And we saw Peyton Selich drop that one ball over the infield, right?
Yep.
And come up with a big hit.
He's 2 for 3 as Peyton. He's got an RBI single and another single in the last inning, scored a run, also flew out to center field.
And you got to be sometimes better be lucky than good, right?
That was that big 2 RBI single in the 4th inning. It looked like that C. Milton Wright was going to get out of that inning.
Yep.
Selig dropped a single in.
Well, you can tell that Hunter Wright is a good pitcher. I mean, he's got a good live arm, good breaking stuff.
Yeah, 3-1 on the year is Hunter. Down low. 11-4 if you just tuned in, and shame on you. You should have been here the whole game, right, Scott?
Right. You have to replay it.
Nothing through 2.5 innings. C. Milton Wright scored 3 in the bottom of the 3rd. Fly ball into right field. Coming in, moving, and it falls in for the base hit. That wind just seems to knock the ball down out there.
Yeah, they haven't made adjustments on either team, but I tell you what, Babe Ruth might not be able to get one out today to right field the way it just seems to be cut down.
So 3 hits now for Selig, 3 for 4.
Having a day.
Looks like we've got a substitute here. Number 16 is Mason Smith, and Mason Smith is the only sub that Patterson Mill has. Remember covering West Nottingham Academy, they had 12 football players, and they would yell for their punt team. The punter would run on. That was their punt team.
Well,
so that's kind of when you say you have a sub coming in. Patterson Mill has 10 players. And again, they have a number of players on the JV. I believe Matt Roseland told me 21.
Okay.
But he could bring up several of the JV players, but they're not ready, he said, for varsity competition. So he'd rather they play on the JV level.
Yeah, and you know, he has a great way of saying that too, that he wants them to find success. Is what Coach Matt Roseland always says. And if you're young, maybe you don't find success on your first start at varsity. It can be a little tough. So we'd rather have them on JV finding success.
Foul ball out of play. Matt Roseland goes back to, was it Wautau High School in New York? They were the state champions back in 1998. He was a 3-sport star there. Went to Towson and was at Bel Air Middle School, and when Patterson Mill opened, he transferred over and has been the baseball coach. Also, I think he's the offensive coordinator for the football team.
Ah, okay. He keeps the clock for the basketball team. I see him there. So he doesn't have an off season.
Last year, 2018, this team was 16-6. They lost to Colonel Richardson 2-1 in 8 innings.
That was a heartbreaker game. Austin Keene had pitched his heart out. Colonel Richardson at that time had 2 pitchers that were looking to be drafted, Jamison Covey and
Jake Zebron.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
he got drafted, Zebron did, by the Orioles in the 18th round, I understand.
That's right. That's right. And Covey's at Hartford Community College. He did not go in the draft and did not sign with Ole Miss and ended up pitching for Hartford. But Patterson Mill just ended up on the wrong end of that. They were leading in the game late in the innings and just couldn't pull it out.
But here's Caleb Haven now, the sophomore catcher. He is a 1 for 2 on the day. Fouls it back. We're right off of Route 543, if you can hear the traffic going by on our field mic. Beautiful sight here at C. Milton Wright High School. Haven't mentioned Joe Stetka, the ex-coach here.
We did not. We need to. He is in the house today. Viewing the game. It's his first year. He hasn't been the head coach of C. Milton Wright.
See, I called him Joe Stetka. I didn't call him Joey.
Didn't call him Joey. I call him Coach Stetka. You call him Joey. That shows the difference in our age, Don.
I go back. Joey told me that he is 62 years of age, and I remember him as a player at Bel Air High School back in the day.
Well,
that shows you how old I am.
He came in here today without having to make a lineup card or drag the field or cut the grass, and he was tan right off the plane from Florida.
Yep.
He looked great, healthy as can be.
Still working over at the Ironbirds, and
yep.
Says he may hang it up this year. It works for the Maryland. What's that? The lottery.
Maryland Lottery.
Yeah. And may hang it up this year. Hasn't decided. Good to see Joe though. He's doing well.
Yes, he is, and it's always good to see him. He's out here supporting the Mustangs.
A little bit of a fly ball.
Tough play.
Diving and he's safe there at second base as the dive is recorded. I hope he's okay. Eric Brettsnyder came in, tried to field the ball in the air, wasn't able to do it, and so it will be a little bit of a base hit for Heyman.
Yeah, he had to dive in there. It's an awkward play, especially with the runner going.
Makes up for those line drives that hit right at somebody as Heyman comes up with his second hit of the game. He's 2 for 3.
Right.
Go back up to the top of the order now in Ethan Schultz. Ethan, who was 3 for 4. The only time they got him out was on a line drive in the first inning, caught by the third baseman on a leap. Runners at first and second, 2 out. We're in the top of the 7th inning. It is an 11-4 lead for Patterson Mill, looking to add on more.
They got the man up to do it too. They man in scoring position. Ethan Schultz is tough.
Just a junior still is Ethan Schultz, 471 hitter. Line drive. He's got 3 hits now.
He is
actually 4 hits.
Singles machine.
And the runner will come all the way around and score. That's the 12th run of the game as Selleck comes in and scores from second base. Wow, 4 for 5 for Ethan Schultz. He came in at 471. I'm not great at math, but I think he's over 500 now.
I would think when you have that kind of day, he's up in the zone where he's going to go 2 for 4 and have a batting average drop.
Heyman moves down to second base and brings up Braden Seuss. Braden is 1 for 3. He struck out, flew out to right field, got a single back in the 4th inning and scored a run. Also walked and scored a run. Beats it into the ground, foul.
It's a good curveball by Hunter Wright.
So the Huskies had now scored in 4 straight innings. They were shut out in the first 3 innings, had no hits in the first 3 innings. Scored 3 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, 5 in the 6th, and now at least 1 here in the 7th. Fly ball foul. Moving on to first baseman, diving for it, unable to make the catch. Long back in at first base, Matt Long.
They're just not done. I mean, Patterson Mill's not done. They're not content.
Check it, MJ Cummings has gone into first base now. MJ, who started the game as a pitcher. Great effort on the part of Cummings. Well, you like to see that. You're down by 8 runs now, and, you just run it down, dive for the ball. Braden Seuss, one of the few seniors on this team.
That's
Line
in there
drive
too.
into right center field. That's going to fall for the base hit. Runner turning third. Here's the throw to the plate. He is going to be safe at the plate on the diving run scored. That by catcher Heyman, who comes in and shows that he can run as well. Who says that catchers can't run?
We saw one last week that could run. He got it. Not only made a great run, but a great diving heads first slide because Spurlock just threw a bullet to home plate. That was a strike.
The RBI single by Suze. He's now 2 for 4. That'll bring up Santora. Santora had a double last time up. 2 big RBIs. Also has scored a run. He's 1 for 3.
Yeah, you got Ethan Schultz at third, Brandon Suze at second.
Yeah,
Patterson Mill still threatening.
Schultz went to third and Suze went to second on that throw to home.
Right.
Well, you're right. That was a great throw from Spurlock to Kopczynski, and great slide by Heyman. You don't see a head first slide into home very often.
He was out, and the slide got him safe, if you know what I mean. I mean, the ball was there. It's just a great slide, great bang play.
Reminds you again that Heyman is a sophomore. Very impressive young team here for Patterson Mill. Tell you what, this team, they're 4-3, looking to go 5-3. They've twice won the Uckback Chesapeake Division Championship, despite being a 1A school.
Yeah, they run it 2 years in a row and came in second, I think, last year.
Bel Air 4-2 with a half-game lead as we come down the stretch in the Chesapeake.
It would be very easy for Patterson Mill to, as a 1A school, to want to be in the lower division like other 1A schools do, and want to get the points for beating teams in the lower division. But you know, they're not going to do it. They compete and win.
And Scott, that's one of the reasons they do so well in the postseason. When you play tough teams all year long. Fly ball, foul down that right field line. There goes MJ Cummins again.
But the risk you win is there's some teams like Bohemian Manor sitting in that second division that are 1A with you. And if they go undefeated all year, they get the seeding ahead of you. And you've been beaten by Bel Air or C. Milton Wright that are bigger schools, and you have to go to their field to play them in a pivotal game for the state regional title. And that's where, you know, I give Patterson Mill the credit for jumping up to the tougher division and saying we'll play the best teams around.
Ground ball foul again right at the plate.
It's another one of those off your foot or heel.
And you look at Patterson Mill, the one prize that's eluded them is the state championship game. They've lost, what, twice in the state finals?
Yeah, they've been close. And, you know, I was watching those games. My son was on those teams. It wasn't for lack of effort. Those kids from Patterson Mill are tight. That's the first thing Coach Roseland said, was how tight this team is together. And you don't get there without being tight.
Swung on and missed, and finally this inning comes to an end, but not before Patterson Mill scores 2 more runs. They get 2 runs on, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 base hits. No errors, and 2 runners are left on base. We've now played 6.5 innings with the Patterson Mill Huskies leading by 13-4.
Is that Scherzer pitch is he gonna get out there and pitch again? You know, if you're C. Milton, he's the last guy you want to see take the mound because they just haven't been able to really knock him off today. And he is going back out. He's going to go for the complete game. He's 3 outs away, and you know, I give him a lot of credit. He's 5'9", 145, sophomore.
Soaking wet.
Soaking wet. Soccer player. He throws like an infielder. He's got good motion as a pitcher. I don't mean to knock him, but I tell you, it's frustrating when you're C. Milton Wright and you see him come back on the mound and you just can't seem to get him into you can't get into the bullpen. They got 10 players, so what if they bring somebody in? It's going to be somebody from the field that really hasn't worked out in the bullpen. But it looks like at this point, Christian Scherzer she doesn't need many warm-ups, so we're going to go right to the bottom half of the last inning here.
Ethan Schultz 4 for 5 in this game, and again, the only time he was retired, the first pitch of the ball game where he lined it and the third baseman Vineyard went up and made a leaping catch. He could be 5 for 5 instead of 4 for 5. 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs.
Yeah, he's not going to cry though, Don. He is just like it's like a batting. He's batting practice. He's just lining everything. So good for him.
Well, impressed with Patterson Mill, not only playing the ball game, but their heads-up play. They've had 3 pickoffs, including that big pickoff, the fake throw to first base, and getting the guy out at the plate when they had the bases loaded and nobody out.
Yeah, I've seen. I think it's something you see in the South a little more, where guys like to throw the ball around the diamond. They like to pick people off. Maryland teams traditionally just go out and play the game. They don't really try a lot of defensive maneuvers or bunt rotations, but Patterson Mill bring everything at you, offensively and defensively.
Looks like Kenny Glover is going to be the pinch hitter here, pinch hitting for Matt Long.
Yeah, they're going over the lineup. That's why I'm talking away. They're making a few changes.
Well, you know the Patterson Mill will not be making a few changes
Nope.
because they don't have the players to do it. They'll have that same lineup out there that started the game.
They made their change. They had their pinch hitter. They made their change. So they're set and ready to go. So here we go in the bottom of the last inning.
Bottom of the last inning. This is the number 9 hitter, Kenny Glover. Up high and inside. Kenny Glover is a junior. Outside, ball 2.
Both teams wearing black shirts today. That's it's not well coordinated
A little
for a TV game.
confusing to old folks like me that have trouble.
Yeah, they should have talked, but
it may be the only uniforms they have.
I'm sure that's not the case these days. Back when we played, Don, yes, but.
Can I tell you the story? Ball 4, 4-pitch walk. When I started at Edgewood High School, we didn't have uniforms. We were given uniforms by the Edgewood Arsenal. So they had a team. No, they were for like soldiers, 25-year-old, 22-year-old soldiers. They were flannel.
Yeah, well, they look great on the freshmen.
They were flannel.
Right.
Bel Air, who had manicured uniforms, tailor-made and so forth. They called us scarecrows. Now, not that I can remember this 60 years ago, actually 57, but who's counting? But we beat them, and then we said, well, looks like you got beat by the scarecrows.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta love that.
Gotta love that.
We had my freshman year worn out white pinstripe uniforms.
I remember those.
But the pinstripes were pink by the time I got them down. So there's nothing like playing tougher than a pink uniform. It's hard to look bad, but it's easy to play tough because you're being made fun of the whole time. So we're going to have to give a round of applause here to Christian Scherzer. It looks like they're making a move.
It looks like they are making a move, and they're bringing in, see if we can get a number here.
It's Brandon Seuss.
Yeah, Brandon Seuss they're bringing in from second base.
He's a good pitcher, too.
Brandon Seuss is a senior, 5'7", 140-pounder. He looks like a carbon copy of Christian Scherzer in terms of his size.
Yeah, but he is just 2 inches shorter and 5 pounds lighter. So, but same scenario. Comes over the top, throws like an infielder, good motion, balanced kid. He'll throw strikes. Got a good curveball when he gets on top of it and finishes it.
Scott, we're hearing from the truck that we will not have time for post-game interviews. It's too bad because I was looking forward to talking to Ethan Schultz and asking him, hey, 4 for 5, do you feel bad that you're 4 for 5? But
no, I will add to that. I like that kid, and I'll tell you, I gave the shout out earlier. My son Max, who was a senior on this team last year, said he can bang it, and he always liked that kid and liked his swing. So I'm sure Max will be happy to know that he had a good game. He led them offensively. Very confident hitter. Love having a guy like that hitting lead off because he's virtually assured of getting on base or at least hitting the ball hard somewhere.
4 for 5, 2 runs scored, and 2 RBIs.
Yeah, and I would have, the defensive player that I would have liked to have talked to would have been Christian Scherzer. He deserves a lot of credit for pitching his way out of a jam, for leading the effort. Now he's going to go play shortstop and root for his second baseman, Braden Seuss, who's going to come in and try to mop up the end of the game here with a man on first.
1 on and nobody out, and that turns the lineup over and does bring up the leadoff hitter, Eric Bretschneider. Eric is 0 for 2. He's flown out and got on an error and walked.
He's going to drag. That's a smart play.
That's a beautiful bunt.
There's no play on it.
No throw at all. Throw back to second base. So the bunt single by Eric Bretschneider.
Well,
puts 2 on and nobody out.
I told earlier in the game I made some comments about Eric, and said he's kind of the catalyst for this team. He sees them go to a pitch and change and lays down a perfect drag bunt. That is a headsy play.
Nick Kobzinski now at the bat. Nick has reached or hit by a pitch, singled and struck out. He's 1 for 2 officially, scored a run. Ground ball foul.
So what this assures the C. Milton Wright team of is they're going to get their best hitters to the plate this inning, and that's all you can really hope for when you're down by a lot of runs.
So the runner on at second base is Glover. He is the responsibility of the starter, Scherzer.
Right.
Curveball.
That's the overhand curveball from Braden Seuss I was talking about. He drops down a little bit on that pitch, it can be picked up easily, but it fools you a little as a batter because it's just kind of tumbling down into the strike zone.
Kobzinski, a 429 hitter coming in. Up high, throw back to second base, and diving back in safely is Glover.
All right, I figured out why Caleb Heyman has no problem throwing to second base.
What is that?
Well, Nathan Vujanik is 6'3", 175 pounds, and with his wingspan, I think he's 6'8". So how do you throw the ball into center field?
Good point.
And he played first base last year, so not, you always, I heard Billy Ripken say once, put your best athlete at first base kind of thing, because they touch the ball more than any other infielder. It's not a bad ploy.
Vujanik moves to second base, and Scherzer took over at shortstop.
Right.
Well, if Billy Ripken says it, I'm believing it. We got a chance Friday night. We'll talk more in a moment. Up high to watch Vi Ripken throw out the first pitch at the fight for the fungo.
Yep.
Vi threw a strike. I will, to my dying day, will say it was a strike right down the middle. Okay, it took 4 hops, but it was still right down the middle.
And it was a recently named pitch.
A dipsy doodle.
A dipsy doodle.
I said, Miss Ripken, what are you going to throw? Fastball, curveball, changeup? She said it's going to be my dipsy doodle, and it was.
It was.
It dipsy, it doodled, it got across.
Now, having seen both she and Billy on the mound in my career, I got to give it to Vi.
Oh, Billy, that's Scott Elliott making that comment. By the way, Hunter Wright now at the bat. Bases are loaded. Nobody is out on the walk. Wright, who is 1 for 3, got that triple with 2 RBIs back in the 3rd inning. That, as you recall, put C. Milton Wright up at that point by 2-0, 3-0 actually.
A little bit of a rally going here, and this is the guy I like. He's been banging him to left field.
364 hitter. Yeah, you're right, and there is a huge gap in left center field. That's right where he hits the ball.
Yeah, I would plug that up defensively because you don't want a merry-go-round here at the end of the game. You want to try to keep guys going station to station.
Ground ball, second base.
Rolled over.
Vujanik throws to second, gets the out there. No throwback. Run does score. So the force out at second base, the run does score, but the 1 out is recorded.
Yeah, and that was well played. A 4-6 ground ball. You're not going to turn 2 when something hit that slow, but you are a little thankful if you're Patterson Mill that Hunter Wright who's had good swings on the ball all day, kind of rolled over on it and hit a slow ground ball. So we have 1 out now.
1 out, yeah. Spurlock, excuse me, at the bat.
I got it. This is going to be Jake's senior year.
Jake is 1 for 3, got a base hit back in the 2nd inning.
He doesn't take many pitches, but he took that one. It was a little high.
Grounded out and then reached on an error last time up.
Watched him play for a lot of years, even when he was younger and all the way through. He's a really good ball player and deserves a tribute as a senior. He's really can hit, and he's a good leader.
Batting .533 coming in.
And he has great hair.
Runners at 2nd and 3rd now.
Nice pitch there. I mean, you don't want to he's a good hitter, so you got to nibble a little, and Braden put that right on the corner. Jake's ahead, so he wasn't really going to swing at something like that, but it's a good way to get a strike.
Braden Seuss in to pitch. Took something off, and
yeah, he doubled up on that slow curve a little.
Got Spurlock off balance, and Spurlock was able to foul it off.
Right. He might have been sitting fastball. It's not a bad pitch. I mean, Seuss looks to be bearing down a little more with Jake at the plate, which I think you have to do, but it definitely helped Braden Seuss a little, having him at the plate to throw a little better command pitch.
13-5 is the score. Up high.
That might have been a show me pitch. Show the fastball high, and he might be coming back with a curve here, trying to strike him out.
1 out. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. Line shot, base hit into left field. 1 run will score. Here comes the 2nd run around third base, and that will make it 13-7. 2-run single by Jake Spurlock.
Spurlock just padding stats with that one. Just fastball, let her high, and he just drove it.
2 RBIs down that third base line as Brett Snyder comes in from third base, and Wright comes in from 2nd.
Yeah, Spurlock, I won't get to see him play again, but he's off to a great senior year, and that's he's going to have some gaudy numbers, I think, at this point if he keeps his head on straight and keeps playing hard.
That brings up Frezza. Ball back to the pitcher. The out is recorded at first base, going down to second base. Good play by the second baseman turned pitcher, Seuss. 1-3.
And that's an advantage. You know, when you're Patterson Milton, you only have 10 guys on the squad, and you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to throw an infielder as a pitcher. You field them out well, right? I mean, guys bouncing around there. He was on that quick, made the play. Now you're down to your last out.
2 outs. Christian Vineyard at the bat. Christian has walked, sacrificed, and grounded out. He's 0 for 1 officially. Curveball.
Just missed with it. That's the pitch I've been talking about, kind of a slow, tumbling curve.
2 runs here in the bottom of the 7th inning so far for C. Milton Wright. Down 13-6. Throw back to second base.
They're not done. Still trying to pick them off. Spurlock's tired of them throwing behind him.
Just so amazed, Heyman, as you said, his footwork, yeah, it probably needs some improvement, but he just flicks the ball, and every time it is right there.
He's a gamer. I mean, like, he likes competitively throwing behind guys.
And he is a sophomore. I keep saying that. It's just hard for me to believe, number one, his size. He's a big kid.
Yeah.
And number 2, his headiness as the catcher. I always like to see a senior catcher because to me, that's where the leadership comes from. But we've seen 2 sophomore catchers today that are seniors in their attitudes.
Yeah.
Fly ball into left center field.
It.
That could do it. Moving over and making the catch in left center field is Ethan Schultz, and that will end this ball game with a final score of 13-6. Scott, what do you think?
Well, in my final thoughts, I love watching Patterson Mill play because they always grind out games. C. Milton Wright, I thought, was the better team coming into this, you know, based on the winning streak they had. But as we've said all along, this is the year where everybody's beating each other, and it's going to be a jumble down to the end. So the next couple games, we'll have to report back to everyone as to how the teams are faring at the end of the season. But, you know, great ball game by Patterson Mill. Hats off to Ethan Schultz on the offense, and to Christian Scherzer on the defense, being the pitcher that gets the win.
Yeah, it looks like 13 runs on 13 hits for Patterson Mill, 6 runs on 7 hits for C. Milton Wright. The winner, as you said, Christian Scherzer, who goes 6 innings plus. The Braden Seuss comes in and gets the final 3 outs. Again, we talked about the leading hitters. Ethan Schultz, 4 for 5, had 2 RBIs, scored 2 runs. Just played an excellent ball game. You go down and you look at that Patterson Mill team. And again, the pickoffs they made, those let's call them trick plays, yeah, so well executed. I am so impressed with the way they play as a unit.
Well, the other point about that is you pull off a couple trick plays, you get a reputation over the years. What do teams do? Are they going to run on you? Are they going to bunt on you? No, because they're a little hesitant. They know your reputation. You're making guys hang tighter around the bag because they don't want to get embarrassed and get picked off. And the defensive ploy works. And I think it's a brilliant move to not only practice those, but to encourage your players to throw the ball around. And they throw it around even in situations where a lot of teams won't. You know, at the end of the game, they're up by a lot of runs and they're throwing the ball around the diamond. But if you're not comfortable doing it, or if a coach yells at you for doing it,
yeah,
it deflates your ego. And Coach Roseland is always encouraging them to play hard defensively and aggressively, and it shows on the field.
So the final score of 13-6, the victory, or check it 13-7 is the final score. Let me see, 2-3. No, let me reverse that. It is 13-6 is the final score.
Yeah,
And the winning team, Patterson Mill, they now go to 7-4 on the year, 5-3 in the league. C. Milton Wright drops to 3-4 and 5-5. And again, that Chesapeake division, that tight Chesapeake division, Patterson Mill has just said, look, we may have only 10 players, we may have graduated all these seniors, but we are a team to be reckoned with.
They are. That's Coach Roseland's legacy. He's done a great job with it. I wish we had more tape. I'd like to talk to the players. I'd like to see Jake Spurlock and Ethan Schultz in a line drive hitting contest after the game, because that was a pleasure watching those 2 guys. And congratulations to Jake on a great career here at C. Milton Wright.
And congratulations to Christian Scherzer, the sophomore pitcher for Patterson Mill, who picks up the win. He's now 3-1 on the year. And so that's it here from C. Milton Wright High School, where the Patterson Mill Huskies have come on to C. Milton Wright's field. They defeated the Mustangs for the second time in a row this year. And again, as we say, advanced their record to 5-3 in the Chesapeake and 7-4 overall. My partner, Scott Elliott, I'm Don Morrison. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you again real soon.